Yeah!
There we go. It's been a minute. We got to do the guttural scream for a Padres win last night. Ben and Woods 97.3 The Fan.
Whoa. They won on Sunday.
I guess they did.
Yesterday.
I didn't
you
do
didn't
it.
do the guttural scream.
That's what I meant.
You certainly could have done it
I should
yesterday.
have done it. I forgot. I get bored with stuff. You know that. That was a good one last night. Whew, man. Exciting. I just exhaled after that victory. I literally, I realized when we got the last out on the double play, I had not taken a breath in about 4 minutes, and I just, it was a good one. Padres win. We will get into that game, certainly, but first we will get our heads right in the morning. That's what we do here on Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Thanks for being here, watching on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, search Ben and Woods. You can watch us there. Subscribe to the channel. That'd be great. Over 5.3. Wait. 5,300, I would guess.
5.300 subscribers.
Look,
Yeah, you got it.
5.32K is what it says. They could make that a little easier to decipher if I'm being totally transparent. 5.32K subscribers.
Sounds like a lot more when you say 5.32K.
Yeah, 53,000 subscribers. We're on fire. Thanks for listening on your radio, the Odyssey app, your smart device, your phone, whatever it is. Appreciate you very much. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Morning, Schwabi.
Thank you very much for that. It was a fun day for me. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Class bully, class meanie. Yeah, Ben Higgins is here. I did change my Twitter, Avi, to Schwab. Rest in peace. Shout out to his family. And
shout out to his family.
We got a lot of play out of that yesterday. God, that was fun. Very good. Very, very good.
My head is already right. Got a little Hall of Fame open.
Yeah.
Jukebox hero from Foreigner going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as Paulie told us yesterday. So excited by that. I'm ready to go.
Do you feel like you said, are any of your intros in the Hall of Fame? Like, it's not a contest, number one. This is a good song.
It's like I bet on them when they were on the come.
When they're on the come, yeah. And now they've hit big, and you're feeling very proud
exactly.
of that. Yeah, no, it makes sense to me. It's speaking of music. I was driving in. Today was an early day for me. Once a week, I get up ridiculously early, and today was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up, couldn't go back to sleep, so I got up. I did a little workout at home, a little, get the body moving, try to get the heart beating a little bit, and I read a chapter of a book, and then I put on Howard Stern, and I listened to a Pearl Jam interview that he did with the entire band yesterday. And Paulie and I were talking about it a little bit this morning. They got a new record out called Dark Matter, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's, they've been around for 30-some-odd years. And when a 30-some-odd-year band puts out a new record, you're like, oh, man. But there's a couple bangers on there for sure. And I noticed something in the interview, though, that drove me nuts. And I listened to Howard, and he's the best in the world, I think, at interviewing people. And I love Eddie Vedder. I do. I know he's got a lot of local ties. He is unquestionably the most difficult interview of all time. And I mean the most excruciating to listen to that I've ever heard. I'll be Eddie.
Even for Howard Stern.
Even for Howard Stern.
Yeah, and they've got the whole band there.
Their band's behind him.
It's like me moderating the round table on a Thursday.
Correct.
So he'll do that even when it's a solo act. He'll interview, who's your guitarist? Who's your drummer?
Yeah.
But to have all of the guys be somebody's, that's a tough interview.
It's a tough interview.
We're here
but
with,
I'm Eddie.
We're here with Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam. And Eddie, after all the success that you and the band have had, what drove your creative inspiration to come back and make more music here in the year 2024?
Yeah.
I can hear
him. When you're creating and thinking, you write, and then I'll come in, and I had a riff. Hang on, I had this little riff, and I play this, and then.
So Eddie, how about the Cubs?
Yeah, Cubs. Yeah, you think about how how special, baseball can be, and you don't really. You try not to let your I'm in the car going.
I've never heard him be interviewed, but the chat goes. Elisa said, "This is spot on."
I'm in the car going, "Say it, say it, spit it out! For the love of God, man, say it! Give me your answer!" I was dying. I mean, I was driving into like shaking the wheel. Go to anybody else. Go to Stone, go to Jeff, go to Matt, go to anybody and ask them a question. For the love of God, Eddie, say it, man. And
Jeter says, sounds like AJ. Trying to interview AJ a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, AJ just doesn't stop. AJ's more like, and then he doesn't stop, but he doesn't say anything. But Eddie's like, look, I get being careful and thoughtful with your answers in the year 2024, but what inspired us to write new music? We're a band. That's what we do. We love each other. We create. I love this record. Like, it's not that hard. I love Eddie. If he walked in right now, I'd bow at his feet. That man and his music, Ben, got me through some of the hardest times of my life when I was a kid, when I was a senior.
I've been writing songs and, on my own and making demos in this little apartment and being in, smaller bands and playing clubs and opening for other bands, and then when the Seattle fellas invited me up,
right? Yes, just spit it out.
I had to share. That was so spot on.
Just murdered me this morning. That's funny. So I love you, man. I do. His stuff still brings me to tears. Like when I hear the song Release, I can't listen to it without weeping. I can't. Was taking out the garbage on a Sunday a couple weeks ago. No one was home, and I was just collecting all the garbage in the house, and I had a random shuffle on, and Release came on, and I literally just broke down in my house because I thought about all the moments that I've had with that song, and it just killed me. It just gutted me, and I love that man. So I sing their songs all the time, and I'm just so happy for them and amazed that they made it this far. And I've seen them so many times. They're brilliant.
You could, you're gonna, if someone told me, kind of enjoy it, it's gonna be okay.
Right.
That would have been a lot more fun, but I just didn't know that. In fact,
it's just I'm just waiting. I'm just on the edge, waiting. So I listened to. I mean, I drove, our drive in was 25 minutes?
Yeah.
Through one question, essentially. Like, hey, tell me about that workspace you guys have. Well, it's, you look at the space and we have, we do we have like instruments and, activism, and we do, the fan clubs here, and we have space and
good time filler if you're a radio host to have Eddie Vedder on.
Bro, wind him up and let him go.
Paul wouldn't even need to produce a 4-hour show. It's like, we got Eddie Vedder on. We'll be talking to him for the next 4 hours and the next 3 questions.
I love it. I love it. I'll listen to the whole thing today, certainly. But it was a tough listen this morning. Driving in, and it reminded me, try to be as concise as you can today. Try to be energetic and full of life, and have a point, and get to the meat of your story. Was my experience this morning with the great Pearl Jam and Eddie Vedder. I love you. It's not a knock. I love you. It's just an observation that I had.
Let's see. I was last night. I texted my mom at the end of the Lakers game. I was worried about my dad because Lakers fan, and I knew he'd be disappointed with how it ended. So I just texted oof, and I think I worried her because I didn't realize she wasn't watching the game at home with him. My mom, they're always home after 9 o'clock when the game ended. She goes, "What happened?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you weren't watching the end of the game." she went to Willie Nelson at the Shell. She said it was amazing, which was
dang.
pretty cool sounding. I didn't
happening.
realize he was performing at that beautiful venue we have.
I didn't either.
And she said it was great, but she says, "Oh, Dad's going to be. She's watching at home. He's going to be upset." I said, "Oh yeah, they blew a 20-point lead in the second half." So.
I had no earthly idea that Willie Nelson was here. None whatsoever. I don't get updates. I didn't see it on Twitter. I have no idea. I was driving and thinking about that as well because I saw that this morning. People were tweeting about it, and I wondered, would you have gone on a Monday night? The answer is most assuredly no. I would not have gone to see Willie Nelson on a Monday night. But I'm a little embarrassed to say I've never seen Willie Nelson, and I am from Texas. And he is a Texas treasure. He's an American treasure. And I missed him. My mother-in-law was there as well. Had no idea he was coming.
Didn't you say your brother-in-law has been in the bus?
Yeah, I think my brother-in-law has hung out with him.
On the tour bus.
Yeah, and I mean, it's Willie Nelson. It's a Monday night, though. There's very few people are going to get me out of my house, away from the game on a Monday night. Willie Nelson, is not really one of them, but I would like to say that I've seen him. You feel like you might be running out of time? If you don't know if he's gonna if
time continues to work the way it's worked,
that it's
always
forever.
Worked. Yeah, I can see that.
You feel like I might have missed my my last shot here, to see Willie. But man, I love him.
How old is Willie?
He's 114 years old.
I mean, good for him for still performing. Let's see if I can find it. Willie is 90.
90. Holy crap.
And still on stage. Right.
He's on tour.
Can he sing?
He'll be back in July.
He will be.
On a Monday night in Chula Vista.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
Wait until he comes back when he's like 94.
I didn't know this.
See
it's
him then.
The Outlaw Music Festival Tour. Willie Nelson and family. Bob Dylan, Robert Plant and Alison Krauss.
Damn.
John Mellencamp.
Wow, okay.
That's a hell of a line.
I love Robert Plant with Alison Krauss. Holy cow. Okay, all right.
She's got one of the best voices.
Mellencamp too? Like, all right. What's this? What date is this, Paulie?
Monday, July 29th.
Boy, that sounds like a long night, though. About 8 hours out. 2 hours to get there from my house. About an 8-hour concert.
Ben, can you handle 6 to 8?
You can
come in late that day.
Tuesday
the
30th.
You can come in late the next day.
All right. Well, listen, we got a game to get into. A brilliant pitching performance last night. Turns out we finally found a pitcher that is impervious to Coors Field and all the horrors that it presents.
Sucking on a chili dog. Sucking on a chili dog.
Mellencamp.
I love Mellencamp.
All right, we'll come back. We'll set the menu. I know everybody wants to know what we've heard about Manny Machado. We will share what little we know. When we come back with Ben and Woods, good Tuesday morning to you. Let's check traffic with Kelly here on 97.3 The Fan. For all of our power and influence and connections here in the San Diego sports scene,
So much.
I'm sorry to say that we don't know anything more than anybody else at this moment. Pretty much just waiting on an Instagram post from Manny and Yaine about any news on the baby, which, of course, if you missed it yesterday, the Padres placed Manny Machado on the paternity list. He did
This
not.
is Manny Machado.
Hi, Manny.
Hey, Manny.
He did not accompany the team to Colorado, and we had heard those reports. We saw people talking in the chat about it yesterday that he didn't get on the team bus, which immediately led us to suspect that something was up, in fact, that he was not going to join the team in Colorado, and he did not. But after that, we've heard as much as you have, which is nothing.
Well, he's placed on the paternity leave.
Yes.
Matthew Batten
Was called up, yeah.
Yeah, it's not really our
He's expected to miss this series against the Colorado
Yeah.
Rockies.
not really our business, I think.
No, but I think we're all excited for him.
Yes,
And just
100%.
Just like if we had anyone we knew who was a friend or an acquaintance who
Yeah.
was about to have their first child, you were excited with
best
anticipation.
friend.
A best friend.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, a best friend for life.
Contractually.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like DM anyone and ask them like, hey, is everything like I for their sake.
Text AJ right now. He's usually up.
The
He probably would know.
The AJ
Morning,
has,
guys.
he has not texted me back in over a year, so there is a string of text messages that I've sent AJ Preller that he has not responded to. I get it; it's fine. I wouldn't respond to me either if I was him. I just hope that everyone comes through healthy and happy. It is a terrifying for us, the guys. It's terrifying for the ladies out there. I'm so sorry again for making you guys do that, because if we had to do it, there would be no human race, none whatsoever. Maybe 3% of men could handle that whole scene, of the carrying it, right? All the discomfort that comes along with carrying it, the actual birthing of it, whether it's natural, drugs, whether it's at home in a bathtub, in the hospital, whether it's a C-section. It's ridiculous what they have to go through. The recovery, the breastfeeding, all of it. There'd be 4 kids born in a year if it was men that had to do this. I've been in that room twice. It's the gnarliest, most beautiful, incredible thing. I'm so happy for them that they get to experience this. I think they're going to be fantastic parents. Manny has always been brilliant with kids. Brilliant. And yeah, they've got tons of nieces and nephews. I'm just so over the moon for them. Woods is a great first name. Woods Machado would be
Really?
fantastic. Don't know what they're going to go
Ben
with.
Machado sounds good to me.
Yeah, Ben Machado. It's not bad. Benjamin Machado.
Benjamin Machado.
Benjamin Machado. I like that.
Paul Machado?
Paul Machado's a good name. It's a good, solid name. Benin.
I could see it.
Benin Woods.
Benin.
I wanted to name our second kid Benin for the bit, and Hannah wouldn't let me. Benin would have been amazing. Benin Woods. So no. She wanted to name him Ace. Ace Woods.
Have another,
No.
and if it's a boy,
No chance. Bro, you have
then you get the bit.
Paulie.
Third time's a charm.
I picked my son up yesterday from school. He's in the best mood, happy as a clam, joking, busting balls on the drive home from school. We walk in the house. All of a sudden, I hear, what? Nothing. I want mama. Did I do something? No. What are you crying for? I want mama. I'm like, I cannot do another one. I don't have it in me to do another one. Kudos to all of you who are able to do that and manage this on a daily basis. It is very difficult. But congrats to them. Hopefully everything comes out. Hopefully everything turns out the way that it's supposed to. And everybody's healthy and happy and onward and
And if
upward.
we hear anything, we will obviously pass that along to you during the program this morning. Also, during the program this morning, we will have our Padres wrap-up here in just a couple of minutes at the bottom of the hour, discuss last night's 3-1 win over the Rockies and Dylan Cease's amazing performance. At 7 o'clock, do you mind if I just a little basketball, Ben, just sneak it in there?
I thought you were going to do it here.
I need to set the menu. I don't think we have enough time for me to get into it right now.
Here, Jesse Agler's coming on at 8:35. Menu set. Go ahead. It's going to be great. We're going to do the incorporator.
Okay, fine,
Yeah,
fine,
all right.
fine. Incorporator, Reindl Report.
Yeah, the
menu
usual
set.
stuff.
There,
Take
usual
on Woods,
stuff.
yep.
It's not that unusual of a show on a Tuesday.
Correct.
Good point.
Probably
All
talk
right,
about the Padres last night.
Talk about the Padres, yeah.
Dylan Cease,
Yeah,
pretty
Dylan
good.
Cease really good. Yeah, Dylan Cease pretty good.
I realized last night, and I think you'll appreciate this, that I was disappointed with last night's performance.
By whom? The Lakers or the
Well,
Sixers?
obviously
or who?
the Lakers. They blew a 20-point lead in the second half.
Yeah.
I went to bed just checking the scores. I'm like, oh, they got this one in the bag.
I thought the same thing. I also I was watching playoff hockey because that's what I do now.
Big hockey guy.
Huge hockey guy. My Dallas Stars did not come through last night.
Name 3 NHL players.
Suter was one I saw last night.
Suter.
Yep. Connor McDavid is very good, and the goalie kid Temko.
But I realized that I would rather see the Padres win a regular season game than the Lakers even win a playoff game.
Really?
Yeah, I know that doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't.
But
actually,
it really, to me, I know that the Lakers aren't going to win the championship. They're just not good enough. They're not good enough to win the championship. So winning one game that they should have had and would have been exciting, and they're going to extend the series a little bit. They're probably going to lose to Denver anyway.
the Nuggets have owned that ass this year.
It's
You know
complete,
what I
and
mean?
last year,
And last year.
they're just, I think, too good. It took the Nuggets having a pretty off night, missing a ton of shots, ton of in and out 3-pointers for the Lakers to build that lead. And when they wanted to, when Jokic wanted to, they started doing what, just coming back. And you could see it unraveling. Like last season with the Padres, you could see it all falling apart right there on the stage. It was horrible. But at the same time, I never really thought, even if they had won the game, now the Lakers are going to win this series and they're going to go on and win another title. I just did not see it happening. LeBron, I like watching LeBron and Anthony Davis. I do. You can add that one to the mix if you want. But ultimately, I would rather see the Padres win a game than have the Lakers win a playoff game.
Yeah, because you don't feel like there's a real ceiling. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be nice to get a couple. I don't know, extend the series like you said.
Sure.
But I did watch the end of the Sixers game. Holy cow! I mean, you thought the Lakers ending was bad. The Sixers fans are going through it this morning. The Knicks up 2-0. Madison Square Garden, bananas last night with that Knicks win. I watched the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights after the Padres game, flipped that on and was flipping back and forth when the Padres offense was literally putting me to sleep at one point. I had to slap myself to wake up. I was like, what is happening right here? They lulled me to sleep. So I put on playoff hockey, and Stars fell a little bit short. Happens, but the NHL playoffs have been fantastic so far. I like a higher scoring NHL playoff game. I know that we like the 1-0 defensive, but man, those 7-4, 7-6 games are like, they're cool to me. 5-4.
I agree with you.
That's great.
Well, in any sport, it feels like if you have a few more goals and scoring
runs. I do like a 1-0 pitching matchup
Sure.
that you win. It's great, and it's like, woo, man, what a game.
It feels like there's more luck involved in like a 1-0 game.
Yeah.
Though. Like one goal gets through. Did that team really play better, or did
Right.
they just happen to sneak the one in? But when they're both scoring back and forth, they're getting rewarded for their good play. Same with soccer. You want to see a team rewarded. They move the ball down the field, great passes, and they get to the net, and he goes off the post, and you go, well, they did so many things well, and they didn't get rewarded at all for it. And I always feel like it makes the sport, the hockey and soccer, a little bit more down to just the whims of which team happened to finish once or twice on their opportunities.
And honestly, and this is not a knock, it's obviously the strategy of both sports sometimes, but the keep away, playing keep away, kind of burning clock. It doesn't make for the. I like when things are on the attack, right? And it's why I fell in love with the NLL and box lacrosse. You're down 6 goals in the second. You You're nowhere near out of that game. I mean, those games are so high scoring. A goalie will let up 14 goals. They're like, what a night. He had an incredible night. Only 14 by him. I like a little bit more high scoring. So I've liked some of the NHL games I've seen, pumping in a few more goals. I did, I kind of ran my mouth about the NBA playoffs yesterday. You can't really get two more exciting games than you had.
Ultimately, it might be the best game of the playoffs last night with Jamal Murray's buzzer beater with the Nuggets coming back. It was a terrific basketball game. So was the Knicks game at the end.
Yeah.
There was complaining about the officiating on both losing sides. The 76ers are going to file a protest. I know that they swallowed their whistles at the end. That happens in every playoff game. LeBron was unhappy about
I was gonna say, did you hear LeBron
instant replay?
That was pretty hardcore.
I don't understand
This is mad as you'll ever see a star player.
I don't understand what's going on in the replay center, to be honest. I think I said it this year or last year or whatever. D'Lo clearly gets hit in the face on a drive. What the do we have a replay center if it's going to go? It doesn't make sense to me.
Bro,
it makes no sense to me.
Well, then D'Angelo.
It bothers me.
So they called a
Sorry I didn't answer your question, but that is like...
He's mad.
He talks about another game.
And then I just saw what happened with the
he went in the locker room.
Sixers. Nick
flipped
came
this
too.
one on.
What are we doing?
I certainly didn't get it. So D'Angelo Russell drives, the foul is called. They're going to send him to the line. The Nuggets call for a instant replay review, and the refs overturn it, even though on review, he absolutely just gets smacked in the face.
Assaulted.
And they said, well, the ball had already left his hand. And I think what I was confused about, and maybe LeBron was, so if you don't hit them in the arm and you miss the ball entirely, you're just allowed to hit people in the face now in basketball.
Well,
is that a new rule we had not known about, that you could just smack people in the face as long as the ball is out of their hands?
You also blew a 20-point lead, right?
Yeah.
So that's on you guys. But I'm telling you, in New York, the end of the end of the Sixers, Knicks, there's a guy on the floor being pummeled for the ball. Oh my God, they're not calling anything right now.
Yeah, the officiating is a tough job in the NBA at the end of those games.
The worst of the worst of the worst.
It was an exciting night last night. But we got to get into the Padres. We will wrap up yesterday's 3-1 win over the Colorado Rockies. Lots to get to and a great pitching performance. That is coming up next with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, Tier 1s, put your thinking caps on. We will have Jesse Agler on at 8:35, and it's an Incorporator Tuesday, back on radio today after doing television last week. We need a word. You've been coming through for us the last couple of weeks with some good ones, so start submitting them either in our chat or you can tweet us at Ben and Woods with your Incorporator suggestions for later this morning, and we will talk to Jesse from Denver at 8:35 this morning. But if you missed last night's game or you didn't get to hear the highlights from Jesse and Tony, going to get to those with our Padres wrap-up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive Thru Oil Change, your 15-minute instant drive thru oil change. The crash is finally cleared on northbound 805 near Imperial, so speed should be getting back to normal there. Got this accident still in the North County southbound 15 before Center City Parkway. Couple cars over to the right shoulder. Valvoline Instant Oil Change is your drive thru oil change. It only takes 15 minutes, and you don't have to get out of your car. With all the rain lately, Valvoline is also offering replacement wiper blades. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com, SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Oh, my God, I'm so stiff.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
What up, crew?
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
I like it when the Padres win.
Yeah! Yeah!
It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
Yeah!
Give me a do damage.
Do damage!
Left-hander Gomber ready. Here's the pitch. Profar swings, lines it into left field, and a base hit. Zogar has scored. They will hold Tatis against the arm of Nolan Jones. An RBI single for Jurickson, and a 1-0 Padre lead in the third. 0-2 the pitch, and Bouchard swings, skies one into right field, straight away, not deep. Fernando coming in, now drifting back a little bit. It tends to carry here, but he's able to make the catch, and 9 in a row retired by Dylan Cease to begin his night. 1-2 to McMahon, hit in the air to deep left field as Zokar backing up. Should be deep enough to get Blackman home. Makes the catch just shy of the warning track. Airs it up to the plate because why not? But no chance to get him. Sack fly, Ryan McMahon, and a 1-1 game here in the fourth inning. First pitch on the way. Wade swings, lines it into right field. That's going to drop down. Bouchard is charging. Campusano's rounding third. Here's the throw to the plate. The tag. He is saved! And Tyler Wade with a pinch hit, go-ahead single, and the Padres lead it 2-1 in the 8th. Here's the 0-1. Merrill hits it on the ground to the left side, gets through McMahon and goes into left field. Wade is speeding around third. He'll score without a throw, and Jackson Merrill makes it 3-1 Padres here in the 8th inning.
How about a little insurance?
3-2 to Diaz again. Cease ready. Here's the pitch and a swing and a miss. Blew him away with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and another 1-2-3 inning. 8 strikeouts now for Cease in 7 innings of work. De Los Santos fires. Check swing, doesn't matter. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. Rogers doesn't like it, has some words for Doug Eddings, but all he can do, head back to the dugout. A 3-strikeout 8th inning for De Los Santos. 1-1. The pitch to McMahon is hit on the ground sharply right to Kim at shortstop. He's got it. Flip to Bogarts 1. The turn to first is in time, and a double play to end the game. Robert Suarez comes out, picks up his 8th save of the year, and some flashy defense to end it.
Oh man, it's the best one I've seen. I've seen some good ones actually, but that was dominant. That was impressive. That was outstanding. 7 strong innings. They Blackman got him for the double and got him over manufactured a run on him. But man, what an impressive performance! It's in control the whole time.
He's very Ben with his recap. It's like it kills me every time Schulte does his post game.
Oh man.
He hit that double. And then, he followed up with a single after that. He advanced, we went first to third on that one. And then he tagged up on the fly ball. He scored a run there, 1-0. Ground ball up the middle. Kimmy handles it. Flip Xander. I'm like, yeah, man, we watched.
It's always the question that's asked, too. It's like, Skip, a ton of fight tonight from your guys.
Yeah.
Down 3 runs, and to come back. And he goes, it all started in the second. Kimmy gets on base.
Crony gets a big knock there. It's my favorite.
Just a play-by-play.
I love it so much.
If you didn't listen to the entire game or watch any part of it, you can just listen to Schultz.
If I said, hey, check out the Padres' new play-by-play guy, and I just played you Mike Schultz audio, you'd go, oh, yeah, he's pretty good. I like that countrified voice, It's fantastic.
Well, he's got a good memory.
Yeah.
He remembers what happens in the games that he's managing.
Man. The managers are really good like that.
I'd imagine and Bob Melvin told us this as well, that you sit up at night after the games, replaying it in your mind, like, what could I have done differently in this situation, especially when you lose. But I think even when you win, you're always looking for what better decision could we have made that could have helped us in a game like that. So you just replay it in your mind. Best decision yesterday, handing the ball to Dylan Cease, who has been fantastic. Really, A-plus acquisition so far by A.J. Preller.
Brilliant.
Last month when he pulled off the trade right before the start of the Korea series, they needed one more starting pitcher. They didn't just get a starting pitcher. We were looking like they need a little depth, at the end of the rotation. Somebody eat some innings. And Dylan Cease has looked like the Dylan Cease from a couple of years ago, the Cy Young candidate. He has gotten off to a terrific start. His ERA is down to 1.82. And to do what he did at Coors Field yesterday, and I thought Dennis Lynn had the stat of the night, first pitcher in Coors Field history to pitch at least 7 innings, allow 1 or no hits, and not walk anybody in the game. So essentially the first guy to go 7 or 7+ with just 1 base runner allowed the entire game.
Yeah, I saw people tweeting about Hideo Nomo threw a no-no there, which is a remarkable feat. He walked 4 in that game. Dylan Cease had it all working last night. And again, I've said it, I'm going to say it every time I watch him pitch. It is so nice to be able to watch a pitcher that says Padres across his chest that reaches back and can go 99.8 miles an hour on a guy. It just we haven't really seen it from a starter here consistently. Blake would get up, 96, 97 at times, but Dylan at 2 miles an hour, Benny, on that heater when you need it, he was outstanding. Outstanding last night. Do you know that he's only given up 1 hit to a righty all season, and it was Tom Murphy? That's incredible. Incredible. 29+ innings. 1 hit to a right-hander. Tom Murphy on March 30th.
I've heard the comparison that Dylan Cease, kind of the right-handed Blake Snell.
That's got to die.
And while I understand, he walked some guys in his first 2 starts, and he will again.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why pitchers like Blake Snell and Dylan Cease walk batters is because it's so hard for batters to actually hit them. When you can't make contact on the first couple of pitches, well, invariably you'll get into more, 2-2, 3-2 counts, because sometimes, when you have less stuff, the guy will hit the ball on the first pitch.
Yeah.
So you never walk a guy when they make contact. But when it's so hard to make contact, it leads to obviously more strikeouts, but it leads to more walks at the same time. However, even with that being true, and even with Dylan Cease tending to walk a few more than average, I haven't gotten that sense I used to get with Blake Snell.
The roller coaster.
We loved Blake, but
the roller coaster,
the constant agony, of the
pain,
the stomach churning nature of a Blake Snell start, it's kind of been missing from Dylan Cease's starts. Even when he did walk a few, you just didn't always have that, oh, here we go again feeling yet. Now, part of that comes with experience, just having watched Blake for so long, and perhaps things will change as Dylan Cease is a Padre for a longer period of time. But so far, absolutely fantastic. The returns have been terrific on Dylan Cease. He's been the stopper. He's been the ace. And take nothing away from Joe Musgrove or Yu Darvish, who have both been doing it for a while. Dylan Cease is the guy right now for the San Diego Padres in the starting rotation. And Michael King was fantastic last time too, but Dylan Cease seems to be setting the tone right now.
Brilliant performance last night. You got just enough offense to win. Was I concerned about the offense? We hit some balls hard in the first, and I thought, okay, they're seeing Gomber pretty well, and getting barrel on ball. There was a couple I thought were probably going to go out. They didn't, it was just one of those weird nights. Hopefully you can explode, give a little bit more run support to Michael King today, Benny. But Dylan Cease kept you right there the whole time. I was so happy to see them come through. And I know we always say pitcher wins don't really count, but those do. When you bust your ass for, 7 innings and your team is able to score and get you that win, that feels really, really good. He was
as long as they're going to
out.
put those numbers next to your name in the newspaper,
take them.
You're going to want to get the win when you can get the win. No doubt about it.
And you're going to get wins where you give up 9 runs, and it's just you're like, oh, I really earned that one today. But that one, that was really well earned.
What did you text to our group thread right after the game?
So I'm trying to, grow as a man. And I will be honest with you. When Tyler Wade came up to pitch hit.
Yes. I wasn't going to throw you under the bus on that
Well,
one.
you just did.
After the game, I said, what did you text? Or maybe it was Paul who texted it. Oh, it was Paul. He said, that's an L last season.
Oh, yeah.
Game. That's a game, and I agreed with you. That's a game I felt the Padres found a way to lose
We've
last
had a
year.
lot of those this year, man. A lot.
And a handful.
And by the way, some disturbing similarities to
Yes.
last season as well. At one point, the Padres had 13 base runners versus 1 base runner for the Rockies, and they weren't winning.
They were not winning
That's
the
like
game.
almost impossible. Think about that. Think about having a game that's gone 7 innings. You put 13 runners on base. The other team has had 1 guy reach base the entire game, and you're not winning that game. That's unbelievable almost. And that's what happened last season to the Padres all the time.
You don't have to. I manage the tier 1s. I see this damn near every week. 14 walks and no runs scored, Benny. I did text last night at 7:28, and it was just a statement. My statement was Tyler Wade, first off the bench. Didn't really give my opinion, but I think you guys know me well enough to know my thoughts on that move by our skipper, Mike Schilt. And if that SOB didn't come right through,
I hadn't even finished reading your text, and then I heard the crack of the bat.
Yep. And kudos to him. Got us the lead, and it was.
Be honest though, who did you want coming off the bench in that situation?
You and I had
especially with Manny on paternity leave. You've got
it was him or Paulie.
Matthew Batten or Graham Paulie or Kyle Higashioka.
Yeah. I mean, look, you and I had this argument. I'm going to beat you over the head with it for the rest of the year. I wanted a better bench. You said our bench was fine.
The Padres actually don't have their bench is probably not fine. But in that situation, I thought Wade's a pretty easy call, actually, in terms of who you're pinch hitting there.
Well, yeah.
Paulie, I would hope at some point is going to be your offensive guy. He's hitting like 100.
Tyler Wade's OPS is 560 right now. Like he's a perfect bench player.
But,
he's a guy that you have a better hitter, and then who hits a single. Tyler Wade is a pinch runner, steals second. Now he got the job done. I don't complain about wins ever. I'm happy the guy stepped up, man. That was excellent. And Dylan Cease earned that, deserved that from Tyler Wade and Mike Schilt. But yeah, his options are limited. And I think that's really my point. Not a knock on Tyler Wade, but a kind of knock on how the bench is constructed right now. And again, I know Manny being out changes the lineup tremendously. But it worked last night. Probably earned himself another month.
But
they
did find a way to win that game.
Yeah,
and they did not blow it the way it felt like they would have last season. And that doesn't mean that there aren't still concerns. You really should have won that game by 8 or 9 runs, not come down to the wire and just win it by a couple. And there are certainly offensive concerns. Last night, if it wasn't for the bottom part of the lineup, the top of the lineup was not getting the job done where the Padres need it to get done. But they did win the game, and that makes all the difference in the world. Had they just managed to do that 4 or 5 times last year in games that they absolutely easily should have won and didn't, they would have been in the playoffs. And who knows what the season would have ended with last year. If they had just done last night's game a couple of more times last year when they had, like 12 chances at games like that they should have won that they didn't, that's the difference in the end of a season sometimes.
Yeah, and can't do this segment without crediting a couple other guys too. Enyel De Los Santos, absolutely filthy, struck out the side. Did give up a hit, but was ridiculous. Has pitched ridiculous lately. Jackson Merrill, 2 for 4, knocked in a huge insurance run.
His road splits are unbelievable.
7th multi-hit game out of the 25 career games that young man has under his belt. He proved a lot of people wrong, and he just looks like a complete player. The way he goes the other way, the way he hits it where it's pitched, the way he doesn't try to do too much. He uses his speed, plays a good center field. I'm so impressed. I continue to be impressed with him. And very, very good, solid team win last night. I almost threw up when they hit that grounder to short, and I watched Kimmy flip that ball, and I thought, oh my God, we're going to blow this right now. And they didn't. Xander made a great turn, great play.
Jackson Merrill at home, 14 games. He's got 7 hits. He's batting 175, 285, or 283 OBP at home. On the road in 11 games, so fewer games, but not by too much. He's batting 452, 477 OBP, 524 slug, over 1,000 OPS. I mean, he's just killing it on the road. You don't see that too often.
Raul says, at what point do we move on from last year? I think it's a fair question. I think they've shown me, listen, just because they scratched out that win, though, it doesn't mean that there's not things to be concerned about.
Man, at what point do we move on from the last 10 years? The last 50 years?
It's true. The collective we here, Ben and Woods, we really don't. And I don't know that you really can. I realize there's a lot of different players, but there's a lot of guys that are the same. There's a lot of guys that are the same that need to carry this team and get it going. And I've seen a lot, though. I've seen a lot to help move on from 2023, certainly. Sorry to bring it up, Raul.
That's all right. All right, we'll continue our discussion of the game. Had a nice ninth-inning performance by Robert Suarez as well. A little nervous time, but did get the job done. We'll play Take on Woods as well, hour number 2. Ben and Woods coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. thought the Rockies did a solid for the Padres last night in the inning where they actually scored their only run against Dylan Cease. Welcome back. It's Ben and Woods. Take on Woods coming up here in a couple of minutes. Bottom of the fourth inning, Charlie Blackmon leads off with a double. The only hit, the only base runner off Dylan Cease. Ezekiel Tovar, who has been their best, hottest player so far this season, then laid down a bunt and got Charlie Blackmon over to third. And I think conventional baseball wisdom would go, good play. Got him over to third, sacrifice fly. They scored the run. Effective, little ball, small baseball. That's the way you do it. And I don't know if Bud Black called for that or if Tovar did it himself.
Don't you?
I don't know. What do you think?
I think he called for it.
You think he called for it?
Yes.
But ultimately, and here's why, I know Woods is not a fan of the sacrifice bunt, and I am not a fan of the sacrifice bunt either. If you could replay that game and you're Bud Black or Ezekiel Tovar, and you know we're having trouble scoring at all against this guy, and one run's probably not going to win it, you may have played yourself out of a bigger inning. Tovar may come up and follow it up with another extra base hit or a home run or something else. You've taken the bat out of the hands of the guy who has been your most productive offensive player early in the season and given an automatic out to the other team. And even though it was a productive out, and even though it did lead to one run, you are playing at Coors Field.
Correct.
And the Padres, even though they struggled to score, they could have scored 7-8 easily last night. That one run, it's not worth it, especially in a game like that, to give up an out to play for the one run. That was successful. There's also the possibility that you mess up the bunt, and it doesn't work out.
It's happened to us over and over.
It happens many times, and that is why, to me, the sacrifice bunt, and the statistical analysis will show it, is a negative EV play, negative expected value when you give up the out just to move the base runner over. Does that mean there's not a situation here or there, a tie game, bottom of the ninth inning, you want to get the runner to third with less than 2 outs, you feel confident the guy who's behind him is going to be able to put the ball in play and score the run? Yes, I am willing to entertain that argument. I'm not...
it's player dependent.
I'm not militant about it. It is player dependent. But in this case, it's also player dependent that the guy who is up and has been one of your best hitters all season long and is a left-handed batter. Oh, no, he's a right-handed batter. He is a right-handed, which is, okay, that's against Dylan Cease. Maybe that's part of the equation. But you take the bat out of his hand. He's got an 820 OPS. You get your run, but you get nothing else. Now, is that going to be enough in a game like that?
Right.
I thought that was a favor done by Bud Black / Ezekiel Tovar to the Padres.
Some other favors done last night. Doug Eddings, who's traditionally terrible, his calls actually went in favor of the Padres a lot last night. But big day for umpires yesterday in Big League Baseball, and it's been
don't do this tease.
I know it's recency bias, I'm sure, but it's I feel like it's getting progressively worse. I do, and I will probably say that for the next. How long's our contract? We have like 2.5 years left. At least for 2.5 more years. I'll be saying that it's getting progressively worse until something is done about it. I'm sure we will talk about Hunter Wendelstedt. And don't do this today. Could do an hour on one of the weirdest things I've seen in baseball in the last couple of years, certainly. But yeah, Doug Eddings was not great behind the dish last night, but a lot of them went in the Padres' favor. So we'll take it. He's gotten us many times.
Do you think that they will go to the automated strike zone before that 2.5 years is up? By the 2026 season, will Major League Baseball have adopted some sort of automatic strike zone, whether it's for every pitch or whether it's the challenge system that they're testing in the minor leagues right now?
That's what I like. That's what I would like to see, a challenge system, even more so than a robo-ump back there. Just, you throw a pitch and you hear bing or whatever, however they decided. Because I'd like it to be accurate as possible, but I also love the idea of popping your head, guy upstairs takes a look, strike, ball, whatever.
But if you can be 100% accurate,
why
go through the whole
trust me
rigmarole of a challenge system?
I just feel like
what happens the first time? I assume, and I'm not sure how it's working in the minor league. I assume you get some sort of limited number of challenges.
They're not challenge
absolutely
every pitch.
Unlimited.
Right.
So what happens after the umpire who's been bad the first couple of innings and you've already used all your challenges up continues to make mistakes
Yeah.
the rest of the game.
I
Are
have
we
no
all
idea.
just going to be okay with that then?
I have no idea. I think you pick your spots. I think you pick your spots in big moments. And if it's nobody on,
But
nobody
sometimes
out.
a game has 5 big moments.
But if
if the umpire makes a mistake in all of them, are you telling a team, oh, it's too bad,
Benny,
you just don't have enough challenges anymore?
Nobody on, nobody out in the third inning. You're up. You got an 0-2 count. You got rings one up. It's a little inside. Maybe you sit on that one, right? You come up in the 5th inning, 6th inning, and there's runners on 2nd and 3rd, and there's 2 strikes, and one's up. You think it's up. You challenge it. Ball.
I agree with you. You'll have to be judicious in your use, but I also promise you that within the first couple of weeks, there will be a situation where a team effectively uses a couple of challenges in big situations with the bases loaded, and yet it'll still come down to a tie game and a horrible call by an umpire, and then they'll be out of challenges, and we'll go, what are we doing here? We have the technology to get it right, and yet we insist on using a system that allows us to get it wrong in big moments late in the game. That's why I feel ultimately a challenge system is not going to be the most effective way to go.
It's something. At this point, it is something. And better than what we're seeing out there. Now, I don't know that you'll ever be able to get rid of sensitivity and rabbit-eared umpires. That's going to be around forever. Guys, managers will still get run. They'll get run for barking at the first base umpire. They'll get wrong for barking at the second base umpire, the third base umpire, whatever. It's going to still happen. I mean, you saw the call last night. I think it was Xander Bogaerts that hit the ball. He was out by 10 feet. He wasn't even in the frame. And the first baseman has his foot planted on the bag. He has to go into foul territory to make the catch. Easiest call in the world. Xander's not even in the frame, and he calls.
Yeah,
him.
I don't think he thought Xander beat it. I thought
No, he thought he came off the bag.
He thought the guy was off the bag,
but he was on the bag for 2 seconds.
He was.
It was like
I know the umpire was on the other side and maybe screened just a little bit by the base and thought that he would already pulled himself off.
Crazy.
I mean, that's why I'm glad they have replay systems.
Even
and
though that one,
even though that went against
us,
you would never want that to go against your team.
No kidding.
On a play that's obvious that can be fixed.
Yeah, terrible.
Just like the Jim Joyce no hit call at the end would have been such an easy fix at the end of the game for a no hitter
and make that
perfect game.
Perfect game.
Perfect game. That's right. Perfect game.
It's tough, dude. It's really, really tough. And I know it's a hard job. They get a lot more right than they get wrong. I absolutely understand that. But when we talk about the Hunter Wendelstadt scene in Don't Do This coming up in about 20 minutes, that stuff can't happen. It just can't happen on a professional level. It just can't. It can't happen.
Need a contestant for Take on Woods. We're going to play here in a couple of minutes. 833-288-0973. It's our musical trivia game. Tier 1 V Woods for a chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas and tickets to Kool and the Gang. Call now, 833-288-0973. No Dodgers last night. They were off, which means Padres are now half game out of first place after the win. Diamondbacks lost to the Cardinals, who rallied from a 3-0 deficit and got a walk-off home run from Nolan Gorman. I guess they sounded, I was watching a little bit of that game, their announcer sounded like the Padres last year. They couldn't get a hit in a big situation. Been a few days, and finally they broke through. Paul Goldschmidt got a home run to tie it, and then Nolan Gorman got the walk-off home run as they won that one 5-3. Giants beat the Mets 5-2 last night as well in the NL West. Little update from what happened last night. So,
scoreboard watching, baby.
Early in the season.
Woods,
I know. Padres will continue their series against the Rockies. Again, 5:40 this evening, 4:40 Eco Water SoCal pregame show. Michael King coming off his best performance of the season in his last start. He'll try his luck at Coors Field. I'd say follow whatever model Dylan Cease just did and do the same thing. He'll go up against Ryan Feltner in Game 2 of the series. And even with Manny on the paternity list, we said it yesterday, you got to win this series. You got to take 3 out of 4. Good start by taking the first game. Now you got to take at least 2 out of the next 3. Make sure you win this series. And I thought Craig made a good point yesterday. I was listening to Annie and Elston, and he said, and we kind of talked about this early in the year, but he said the NL West, the second place team, assuming the Dodgers still win the division, will be decided by the number of wins against the Dodgers subtracted by the number of losses against the Rockies. So the more wins against the Dodgers you can steal, and the fewer losses against the Rockies you can avoid for the Giants, the Diamondbacks, and the Padres, that will likely be a difference maker at the end of the year. And he said Padres are now +3 in that category. They've beaten the Dodgers 3 times. They have lost to the Rockies 0 times. So The closest to 0 you can remain against the Rockies in losses this year will help you big time in trying to get at least a wild card spot at the end of the season.
I thought the Rockies, look, they always seemingly play the Padres pretty tough, especially at Coors Field. And man,
I was shocked to learn that now Padres have won 16 of 22.
Me too.
Against the Rockies.
I saw that stat last night as well, and I'm like, oh man, what am I stuck 4 years ago or something?
We all are.
I think we all are. But they didn't play terrible baseball. They made actually some really, really nice plays, and Crony got robbed on a really nice play from a local kid, Sean Bouchard.
A double play with the
double
glove
play
flip.
that Brendan Rodgers made. Oh my God! I knew that ball was up the middle. Brilliant play. The scoop, the flip was incredible. So they play tough. They do. They're a big league ball club, and they want to win games too.
Yeah, they're a bad team, but they still have big leaguers on their team.
100%.
Never forget that. They can always beat you. All right, I see we get some people calling in. Let's get to it. It is time to play Take on Woods. Take on Woods, brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. And let's go with, how about Sean today? Sean, are you there?
Hello.
Hello. All right, you're in. You're our contestant for Take on Woods. You know how the game works?
All right. Yes, sir.
All right, good enough. If you can beat or tie Woods over our 5 questions, we'll put you into the drawing for the 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. And the tickets to Cool and the Gang available now at Ticketmaster.com. Here are the categories today. Royal titles, 5 song titles or artists that include a British royal title in their name, like King. Take on Woods, we got No Lefts, All Right. That would be 5 song titles that include the word or phrase all right. And our new category today is SEX. 5 song titles or artists that begin with the word sex. All right, here we go. Royal titles, no lefts, all right, or SEX. What would you like to play, Sean?
Good Lord.
Let's go with No Lefts, All Right.
No lefts, all right. Today's game may be a tribute to Carving Guy. All right. Features 5 song titles that include the word or phrase all right somewhere in there. You'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know one, say pass. We'll get to the next question. We'll come back to anything you didn't have time for if there is time left on the clock at the end. 2-second song. I need you to identify both the title and the artist of this first one for the point. Sean, are you ready to play?
Let's give her a go.
All right. 60 seconds on the clock in the category no lefts. All right. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Sean. Let's take on Woods.
I'll come back to that.
All right, what's the title of the song Kenny Loggins wrote as the theme for the movie Caddyshack?
I'm All Right.
Correct. It's hard not to feel good when listening to which 1970s song that was the biggest hit for the English rock band Free?
All Right Now.
Correct. Which 1973 Elton John hit is about a weekend of drinking that gets a little out of hand?
Saturday Night's All Right.
Keep going.
Keep going. Correct. The title of which 1999 hit for The Offspring is the opposite of the title of a 1965 song by The Who?
The Kids Are All Right.
The opposite?
I think he missed it.
That's okay. Let's go back to the 2-second song. Get you the artist.
Oh, this is Joe Cocker. Feeling All Right.
Feeling All Right. Correct. Oh, is that the only one that he missed in the end? I know it was tricky, but I tried to explain it. It's The Kids Aren't All Right, not The Kids Are All Right, which was the Who song, but The Offspring is The Kids Aren't All Right. I hope that doesn't decide it for you. I feel bad about that. All right, that's 4, though. Stay on the line there, Sean. We'll see what Woods thinks at the end of the game. All right, fair enough. All right, 60 seconds back on the clock. Same 5 questions. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Sean.
It's Joe Cocker. Feeling All Right?
Correct. What's the title of the song Kenny Loggins wrote as the theme for the movie Caddyshack?
I'm All Right.
Correct. It's hard not to feel good when listening to which 1970s song that was the biggest hit for the English rock band Free?
All Right Now.
Correct. Which 1973 Elton John hit is about a weekend of drinking that gets a little out of hand.
Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting.
Correct. The title of which 1999 hit for The Offspring is the opposite of the title of a 1965 song by The Who.
All right. All right.
All right.
Crap. I don't know.
You know that one.
My taint is all right.
It is correct. That is correct.
Correct.
No, it's
My
not.
taint is all right.
That is not right. Which means, Sean, congratulations. You have qualified.
He won?
4-4.
Oh,
He could have been 5. He said the kids are all right, which is the Who song, but it's the kids aren't all right by The Offspring. Either way, you are in, Sean. Stay on the line. Paulie will get your information. We will put you into the drawing.
That was tough.
For Las Vegas.
That was a good match.
Tough category, no lefts. All right. For carving guy there.
All right, yeah. Carving
Good
guy.
job, Sean.
All right.
Well-played game of Take on
carving.
Woods.
I love carving guy.
We've already kind of teased our biggest story for Don't Do This.
Yeah, we have.
Which is the umpire situation yesterday. Hunter Wendelstadt against Aaron Boone in New York. That's coming up next after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan. Don't Do This is brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sorrento Valley. The Craft Taco has some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials today. It's thecrafttaco.com. All right, I will start Don't Do This before we get to Aaron Boone with a story we haven't really discussed yet, but it involves a musical artist, Bad Bunny. That is the stage name of Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio. And his an effort to become an agent in Major League Baseball. Start a sports agency called Remus Sports, but it's already come under a lot of...
Remus?
Remus. R-I-M-A-S.
I don't know if I want to sign with an agency called Remus. Bends you over agency.
Well,
Remus.
Depends, I guess, who it is.
Reme agency.
So, they've already been facing some charges of, and I didn't realize what was going on. I saw that they were having trouble getting certified. Yesterday, though, an arbitrator denied a request for a temporary restraining order. They're looking to do business with big clients like Ronald Acuna Jr., who signed with them. Ezekiel Tovar of the Rockies, we talked about him earlier, is also another one of their early clients. But apparently, they have been accused of offering gifts and cash to players to leave their current agencies to come over, and that is a big no-no in the world of agents. You can steal clients, but you can't outright just say, hey, we'll give you $500,000 to come over to our agency.
Yeah.
That is against the rules that govern all the kind of the agent ethics, and they have not been certified by the MLBPA. So while Acuna is represented for marketing deals, they can't actually negotiate contracts or anything until they get certified. And at this point, it doesn't look like it may ever happen based on these accusations and the lawsuit and the inability to even get a temporary restraining order. So, Bad Bunny's trying to do what Jay-Z did it basically first with his
Rock Nation.
with his
Is that
agency.
Still going strong?
Oh, yeah.
Doing well? Good.
Yeah. So is this Bad Bunny?
Yeah,
That's his
Bad Bunny.
that Tatis shout out from a couple years
Oh, that's
ago.
right.
Yeah.
Which now seems like maybe a long-term play to try to get him to sign with Bad Bunny
Yes,
as
to get your-
as an agent. Hey, I'll put him in a song. Maybe
Get
he'll
your
then
hooks in.
join me when I open my agency here in a couple of years.
Boy, we have an agent, Ben, and I mean, somebody offers me $500,000, I'm out. So you know right now. As under the table as it gets. I hope he's not listening right
I don't
now.
know that would be an economically wise decision by any agent.
No.
Because, if you sign Acuna and you give him $500,000, eventually, if he signs
Yeah, you're gonna clean up.
another $300 million deal, you're going to make up that in big time in the agent fees.
You'll make about $1,400 off of us. Yeah, about $1,400 return on your investment. All right, so let's go to Yankee Stadium yesterday, and one of the wilder scenes happened early. I didn't even know they had an early game yesterday. Adam texted us. I'm like, what is this, from last night? No, it was from yesterday afternoon. Hunter Wendelstedt behind the dish yesterday. So there was some hubbub there in the first inning.
2 pitches into the game.
Two pitches
the
into the
beginning
game.
of the game.
Yep, and Hunter Wendelstedt was not having any joy whatsoever from Aaron Boone. Who Aaron Boone is, he gets run a lot, and he's pretty chatty.
Guys are savages in the box.
Yeah, he's pretty chatty over there. So, guy got hit on the foot. Hunter checked it. Something made them not happy. So he looks over and he says, "Look, I did what I'm supposed to do. I checked. That's my job. Not another word."
Is the first base umpire you saw making that?
I mean, there's nobody there.
There's nobody there.
The field mics picked up.
It's at noon.
Everything.
Yeah.
Is the first base umpire you saw making that call?
You're not yelling at me. I did what I'm supposed to do and check. I'm looking for him to get hit by the pitch. You got anything else to say? You're gone. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Boney gives him a thumbs up. Got you. I read you loud and clear. He just stands there silently and just watches.
And one more pitch.
One more pitch.
Wow. You know what? We're not going to need a John Boy breakdown of that one. We got a very clear. Well, there you go.
So now he throws him. Aaron, you're done. And runs him. And Boone was just sitting there chewing gum, big old shades on, watching the game.
I mean, the video coming into the dugout.
It's clear as day.
He doesn't.
So
his lips don't move.
Turns out a Yankee fan. Cameron Maben probably loves this Yankee fan, by the way. Was yelling to the field, and Wendelstedt thought it was Boone and ran him. And Boone comes out. He's incredulous, obviously, because he didn't say anything. And he's got the hands up. I didn't say anything. I don't say it twice, dude.
Thought Mike Schilt was going to hit that umpire on Saturday night. I thought
Boone was close.
He was just going to spear him.
He was really close.
Well, there you go. And now Aaron's saying I didn't say anything.
So then after the game, they go to Hunter Wendelstedt. Now, he did not see the replay yet, but he said apparently what he said was there's a fan right above the dugout. This isn't my first ejection. In the entirety of my career, I've never ejected a player or manager for something a fan has said.
Now you have.
I understand that's going to be part of a story because that's what Aaron was portraying. I heard something come from the far end of the dugout. Had nothing to do with his area, but he's the manager of the Yankees, so he's the one that had to go. Even when Aaron came out and argued his case, he goes, I don't care who said it. I'm throwing
Aaron's saying,
anyway.
hold on a second, I didn't say a word.
Yeah, what do you mean you don't care?
I did not say anything, Hunter.
It's very sounds.
Okay, I did not say it.
And then they kill the mics.
Sounds very familiar.
After all that, then they kill them. I didn't say it.
I didn't say a word. So Hunter Wendelstedt, who, by the way,
I did not say anything, Hunter.
he runs an umpire school.
Oh.
He runs an umpiring school. That is like he's the
Hunter
Hunter
Wendelstedt
Wendelstedt
School of Umpiring?
School of Umpiring. Again, look, you're going to miss calls. You're going to blow calls. I think accountability. We want it from our players. I think we need it from our umpires too. And are they the least accountable, other than politicians? Are they the least accountable American citizens? MLB umpires.
They're well protected.
Massively. The mafia doesn't protect their guys. They're made guys as much as umpires are protected. You ever see an umpire miss a game, get suspended a game for doing something goofy? Never.
So what Hunter Wendelstedt should have obviously done was just ignore what was going on and continue to do his job in umpiring the game.
For so many reasons. First of all, it's the first batter of the game. Lighten up, dude. Like lighten the F up. And then
Totally.
everything that he said after the game, when we've all now seen
Everybody's
the video,
seen
we've
it.
heard the audio,
Yep.
it's clear as day. It still sucks that Booney got rung in the first inning of the game. But if the umpire comes out after the game and is just like, you know what?
I blew it.
That was on me.
Yep.
I apologize. Like, we move on.
The one
No big
thing
deal.
I did agree with Hunter Wendelstedt on is when he said, I'd rather eject the manager than a player.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Early in the game.
Get mad, I guess.
You know, if you want to say, hey, I'm just making the manager responsible for anything that comes out of the dugout.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. You just make sure it's actually coming out of the dugout and not out of the stands.
Could be a trainer, a player,
Right.
whatever. If it's from the dugout, fine.
In that sense, yeah, I'd rather have them throw out a manager who ultimately is not going to have that big of an impact on the game compared to a player. So that I actually approve of. But, yeah, make sure it's actually someone who's in the dugout before you give someone the heave-ho after 3 pitches of a ball game.
Yeah, and then it's kind of connected, the do this for today.
Yeah, it was such a great tweet.
One of the best I've seen. Joe Seppi is a guy that we know, and he's very active on baseball Twitter. He drew a box.
The strike zone
The strike
box.
zone on Aaron Boone. Then the fan who said whatever he said and got Aaron Boone run, he drew a ball, like it's the circle where the pitch was. And he says, at least umps are consistent. And it's about
10 inches
10
high.
inches high. I died. I mean, Jeff Passan retweeted it. You know what I mean? It is just one of the better tweets you will ever see, ever. And I was very mad that I didn't think of it. But very
clever.
Yeah, very
Very
clever. Interesting day for umpires, as it usually is. They really like being the story every single day.
And that's don't and do this for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we'll come back. More Padres talk on the way. If you want to join us, 833-288-0973 as the Padres improve their record to 13-12. If you're in our chat, you're seeing that tweet. The picture from Giuseppe, that was brilliance right there. And then Jesse Agler will join us in 1 hour from now, play a little incorporator with the voice of the Padres. All ahead with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I always get a little bit nervous day before.
Yes.
Mock the draft.
Oh, I do too, actually. It's
I don't even know what I'm hoping for. Obviously,
Nor do I.
it's going to be
the beauty of the bit.
It's going to be terrible and beautiful and
beautiful and terrible. It's great. It's exactly
together.
That's exactly. It's so well put. The Ben's mock the draft. Where Ben comes in and makes just the worst jokes
just
that
awful.
you've ever heard.
I mean, some of them are truly bad this year.
Really?
I've locked it down. I've got my picks set. We do the top 10, and I'll have a special surprise as well.
Oh, he loves the special. He really gives a lot of effort. He started working on this like 3 weeks ago, by the way.
Yeah.
So when you hear it,
I mean, like
this is not cobbled together.
But
morning
it'll
of.
sound cobbled together morning of. Some of them will be so bad that you just thought, did you just cobble that together this morning?
Yeah, these have all been workshopped.
I just searched my email. I found Ben's picks from last year.
Yeah.
Let's see. Number 2, the Houston Texans drafting Keanu Benton, defensive tackle from Wisconsin. Ben said, quote, from embattled Texans general manager, watching the film, I love this guy's speed. Or maybe I loved him in speed. Either way, this pick will make our draft or point break our draft. Keanu Benton.
I do have to take some liberties
with the actual players.
Yes.
And where they'll actually be drafted.
And they all are actual real draft prospects.
Yeah.
Some of them, though, may be projected very deep in the draft, and I kind of have to increase their draft stock a little bit just to get them in. I have to change teams often, which is a nightmare for Paul because I have to make trades so the right team
has to get
ends up with the right player to make the correct pun and joke for it to work because it doesn't work on certain other teams.
We talked about it a little bit yesterday, like how I've gone through years of first-round NFL draft archives to pull just one team or one word, like
one
Roger
word.
Goodell saying with the 4th pick,
Yeah, it's so good.
Here's a trade. This is from last year. We did when I pulled it. I saved it all.
The Indianapolis Colts have traded the 4th pick to the Dallas Cowboys. With the 4th pick in the NFL draft, the Dallas Cowboys select.
And then Ben makes
his thing. So tomorrow at 7, we're going to do this.
We added a visual element of a backdrop last year.
Yeah.
Will we be able to do that again?
We will.
Paul? All right. So, 7 o'clock tomorrow. We got a busy show tomorrow with Adam Jones and Brett Boone.
Will you be drunk like Roger Goodell usually is?
Probably, because I'm also leaving on vacation tomorrow.
Yeah, but you're driving like a dummy.
No, I won't be actually drunk, but I'll be drunk
with excitement?
Excitement and distraction and anticipation.
Staring down the barrel of like a good, solid 6-hour drive after you get off the air. All packed up, ready to go?
Last couple of, mostly packed up.
Clubs clean? Do you clean?
Yes.
Yeah.
All
that's
nice
a
and
good
fresh and ready
bit.
to go.
That's a good
Changed
bit.
out towels, just so
Everything.
I've got some nice, clean golf towels to take with me.
Plenty of balls.
Stocked up with balls, ready to go.
Man, you
Tees. I should be set.
Singles?
No.
Oh. Might need singles.
I actually do have to go to the bank today, but it won't be for singles.
For cash?
Unfortunately. Yes. Well, it is Las Vegas golf, and there is a gambling element to this tournament that I'm in. So
sure.
I'm going to need at least a couple of $100 bills.
What's your buddy Scott? He'll play for big money. He has big money, so he plays for big money.
He doesn't mind. We play for fairly small stakes with each other, but he'll play bigger stakes if you ask him to. He has no qualms about upping the ante.
I bet you're so excited.
There's like a buy-in for the tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like $800 a team, so we're going to split that up.
Okay.
Hopefully we get our money back at least, and if not, win some by winning our flight or even going on and winning the whole championship.
And you have a free place to stay.
I do.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And you're going to do some poker.
Probably some poker tournaments, something in the evening
love it.
Occupy our time after the golf.
I'm going to need, and you're probably playing golf on Friday early, yeah? I was going to say, like, maybe you could update us. Maybe leave a voicemail.
I will
something.
try to leave it.
Yeah,
I will try to leave a
voicemail would be good. Like to check in.
It's 2-man, it's best ball, and we're playing 9-hole matches against other 2-man teams. So I think you play up to like 3 of them a day.
Right.
So like 27 holes. So
27 holes.
Keeps us busy for throughout the day playing some golf.
It's gonna be fun.
For sure.
That's a dream for you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy for you.
So I saw this posted on social media yesterday about Manny Machado And I was actually pretty amazed by this. I want to bring it up right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got some problems in the North County. Crash blocking the 2 left lanes on southbound 15 just past Villa Rancho Parkway. Northbound 15 right at the westbound 78 connector ramp. A collision over to the right shoulder. Now further west on the 78 just past Nordall Road. Got a collision over to the right shoulder. Heading out of the South Bay, northbound side of the 805. Accident before the 54. Those vehicles are over to the right shoulder. Up ahead, another crash. This one's just before 43rd Street. Does not appear to be blocking lanes. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So as you know, Manny Machado went on the paternity list yesterday, and we're still waiting news on Manny Machado. And hopefully...
Manny Machado.
Yeah.
I like it.
little Manny Machado.
Yeah, Manny Machado.
Joining the world. We haven't heard any official news yet, but Bryce Harper was also placed on paternity leave yesterday.
That's wild.
At the very same time. And it was, and this was actually old, you pointed out, but I saw this going around. There are many similarities between Manny and Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
They're the same age, same height, drafted in the same year, first-round draft picks, debuted in the same year. Both were 19 years old.
Crazy.
When they debuted, they have had very similar paralleling careers their entire way. And now they're becoming dads, essentially, possibly even on the same day. I haven't heard if Bryce and his wife have had a baby yet. But
I think they have one. I want to say that
this is their second.
This is their second. So Bryce has the lead there.
They both go on paternity, and quite ironically,
5 years old. They have a 5-year-old.
They do. So this is their second, but quite ironically, they will both likely be back this weekend.
Well,
when the Padres are playing the Phillies at Petco Park.
Well, even 2 kids.
Even crazier than that, somebody did the math. It's very loose math, but they went back and traced potential dates of conception because
9
people
months.
are weird. It's more like 10 when it's all said and done. It was when the Padres were in Philadelphia playing the Phillies. So, I mean, let your imagination run wild there. I mean, the similarities are quite striking between the two. And, I've always been a big Bryce Harper fan. I don't know of anybody. He's one of the guys like LeBron that had gotten so much hype from an early age and was really lived up to all of that hype as well. And I love him. My kids love him. We're going to go see him this weekend, Friday. So hopefully Manny and Bryce are back and feeling that new dad strength, and it'll be cool. It's cool for them. And we're kind of still waiting to see an update from the Machados or Yonder, who's usually pretty good about updating Uncle Yonder.
I mean,
he's pretty stoked.
Whose career would you take so far? Obviously, Bryce got the World Series title.
Yeah,
but
he got an MVP too, I think.
Yeah, Manny's been up there in the voting many times. Very close, though. Really, incredibly similar careers.
That's like 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I want the ring, though, right? I want the ring for sure. I want the ring.
Bryce he wasn't on that World
Oh,
Series.
that's right.
That's right. He was not.
He didn't get it.
He didn't.
It was the year after he left.
He got to the World Series with the Phillies, but they did not win that one.
That's right. That's right.
He got to the World Series.
22, they got there, but
did not win it.
Nationals won it the
Without
year
him.
after, which was even
more
remarkable.
Such a bummer. Man, it's a good question. It's a good question. They're both great, man. I've really enjoyed watching both of them play baseball. They're different players entirely. They're different skill sets. You take the way Bryce plays, and then you take Manny plays completely different. But give me Manny's glove. Give me Bryce's left-handed swing.
Yeah,
it's a perfect baseball
defensively.
player.
Obviously, Manny has the huge edge.
Huge.
Bryce has probably had a couple of bigger moments in recent years just because he's been insanely hot a couple of playoffs
Bryce
now.
got a couple of MVPs. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but actually very similar. It's really interesting, the comparison between the two. And one of the reasons, again, why this Rockies series is so important for the Padres is the schedule gets tough right away again as the Padres return home to face the Phillies and the Reds on their next homestand. So this weekend, 3 against the Phillies, who are playing really well. They shut out the Reds yesterday 7-0. Ranger Suarez has pitched 25 consecutive scoreless innings. Did it again yesterday, and I believe, if I am not mistaken, he is lined up to face the Padres on Saturday against Dylan Cease in his next outing. So you've got 2 of the hottest pitchers in the National League set to go up against each other. possibly with Bryce and Manny both returning to their teams. If you don't have your tickets yet, I don't even know if any are available this weekend. I suggest you make plans to get out to Petco Park for what should be a really exciting series. It should be Musgrove Nola in the first game, C. Suarez in the second game, and then and Michael King, who pitches today, should pitch on Sunday against Taiwan Walker. So very interesting series. They will miss, it looks like,
Wheeler.
Zach Wheeler in the series. They'll face Nola in the first game, but they'll miss Wheeler. So big homestand. The Reds, obviously a team kind of that hoping to have some playoff aspirations, and I believe if it still lines up, and it's a little far out now, but we may see Nick Martinez at the end of that series as well for the Cincinnati Reds at the end of the Padres' next homestand when they come back. So, I mean, I'm not saying you can't win both of those series, but this is why this series against the Colorado Rockies right now is big, because the Padres are in a tough part of the schedule. Then they go at the Diamondbacks and at the Chicago Cubs and then home against the Dodgers again. So
Jesus.
5 more series against, potential playoff contenders coming up after these 4 games against the Colorado Rockies. It really is a tough start to the season. And then they get Colorado at home. Guess what after that? At Atlanta, at Cincinnati, and the New York Yankees coming to Petco Park.
The NL this year is so strong.
April, May has been a really challenging stretch, and then things lighten up a little bit for a while. You've got some Marlins and Angels games and Oakland A's games coming up, but the first 2 months of the year, schedule makers did no favors for the San Diego Padres, and so far they've held their own.
They have
with a 13-12 record.
And a lot of the teams in the NL, man, are playing well. You got in the East, Benny, you got 4 teams double-digit wins already, including the Washington Nationals and the Mets, who looked left for dead the first week or 2 of the season. They've rallied. They're 6-4 in their last 10. So there's only 2 teams in the NL that have that don't have double-digit wins. It's the Rockies and it's the Marlins right now. So it is it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a really, really long, tough season. So they're playing well enough right now. Certainly, you'd love to see them get a little bit of a lead here by beating a team like the Rockies at least 2 more times.
Had some complaints on my Twitter feed last night from fans who thought the Padres were swinging for the fences too much.
No, I didn't see any of that
in the game against the Rockies. I didn't make that observation.
I did not
either. They got plenty of hits. They got runners on base.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of the inability to drive them in at the key clutch moments, that issue that we've seen before with the San Diego Padres. And hopefully you just continue to put guys on base. You're eventually going to score some runs. It felt like it didn't happen last year, yet this is how it should work. If you get 10 opportunities with runners in scoring position, even if you're flailing around a little bit, eventually a chopper like Jackson Merrills is going to get through, or Tyler Wade's going to line one into right field. You put yourself in enough situations, you're going to score some runs.
And the swinging for the fences thing, listen, when a guy's throwing 89, topping out his fastball at 89, and you're playing in Coors Field, why wouldn't you try to let it eat? He's throwing 89, he's going to top out at 89 miles an hour. You get a fastball, why wouldn't you try to let it eat at Coors Field every time? You're there. The balls seem different. We smoked some balls, I thought, early, and I thought, oh man, that ball's just not carrying for some weird reason. But yeah, man, if Austin Gomber's on the bump and I'm a right-handed hitter, you can rest assured I'm coming out of my shoes my first 2 fastballs I see, and the next one I'm going to try to get a knock.
I also had someone who asked if I thought whether Fernando Tatis Jr. should have had an inside-the-park home run on that ball that bounced off the right field fence and got away.
Yeah.
He wasn't, booking it out of the box. He definitely, I didn't see how long
Probably
he waited,
it was
but
gone.
he took a second to, see where it was going, and then obviously hit high gear as he was rounding first, going second to third, and he didn't have to slide. I mean, he rounded third and eventually got the stop sign going around third base. I don't think you would have sent him in that situation. It felt like they already had the ball corralled by the time he even got to third, even if he had an extra 2 or 3 steps because he had gotten off to a quicker start out of the box. I don't think that was going to be an inside-the-park home run. Those are so rare for a reason.
Yeah, the throw was off, as Tony makes a point, but you can't.
I do think they should have sent Tatis early, on Jurickson Profar's single, and that throw was off.
Tim Leeper? He's had some questionable holds early in the season. Probably just want to make sure you don't run out of an inning there.
Especially at Coors Field.
Coors Field, yeah, it makes sense to me.
So,
hey, we won. Let's stop complaining about a nice win.
Paulie's got some audio for us as we come back from his production work yesterday.
I love this
involving
so much.
Annie. It's coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
Halfway home on a Tuesday, Ben and Woods, 97.3, the Fan. Great to be here with you. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Worked his little tail off yesterday. We'll play you some of that audio. This is amazing. I love this. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Basketball Ben, as it were. Vacation Ben is here. Basketball Ben. All my favorite Bens are in the house.
Not your favorite Bens.
No, I don't mind them. It makes for good material. You know, Basketball Ben and Vacation Ben is elite.
Hey,
it's
good game
elite.
last night. We were just watching the call of the Knicks' final, their radio call, and Monica McNutt, who's their analyst, not saying anything, but they had a video camera on her just reacting like, oh my God.
It was so good.
What an incredible, chaotic ending to the Sixers-Knicks game as New York took a 2-0 series lead. Home team has won every single game so far in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily great for extending series, big 7-game series. But, I guess if the home team continues to win, it will end up with a 7-game series every time.
That's exactly right. It's great to be here with you guys talking about the Padres victory last night. We'll do a little reset here before we get back into Padres baseball. But you've heard us play the voice guide many, many times. He is responsible for some really good moments on this program, like the Eno Saris intro.
Eno Harris. Saris.
Son of a bitch. He's got those big, deep pipes.
I call him the voice of God.
Yeah, the
Just
voice
sounds
of
like
God.
the voice of God to me.
Yeah, and so when we have production that we need to get done sometimes, we just send it over to him, and he does it and sends it back to Paulie. Then Paulie has to piece it all together.
He does a lot of our opens, but he does the whole station.
Yeah.
Whether it's a legal ID, a game promo for the Padres.
He had an incredibly difficult time yesterday with one of our hosts, and her name is Annie Heilbrunn.
Yes. So we have the Thursday 97.3 The Fan Padres Roundtable.
Yes, brought to you by Roundtable Pizza.
Just perfect pairing.
The last honest pizza.
Pizza.
That's true. Yeah, I got to start working on my liners because you're going to be gone, and I'm not really good at mechanics, so I need to start practicing.
Good, help out. Annie's actually going to be hosting.
She is going to be hosting
the roundtable on Thursday. She will do a great job. I have no doubt about it.
No question.
Yes.
Better job than the voice of God did, though.
So Annie hosting is what prompted a little bit of work yesterday. About a month ago, I made an open for the roundtable, but in the open, it says, alongside Stephen Woods, Craig Elston, Annie Heilbrunn, Tony Gwynn Jr., and Chris Ello, here's your host, Ben Higgins. Well, Ben's not going to be here this week, so rather than playing that one, Annie is going to be hosting, so we needed a new open.
No, that's going the extra mile.
It is.
Paul. I think most stations would just play the normal open
and then go,
and then go, hey, Ben's not here. I'm Annie filling in for Ben.
Yeah.
And no one would really care, but you're going the extra mile.
It's Annie and Elston and Gwen and Chris. Here's your host, Ben Higgins.
He loves it. He gets such a charge.
I do get a charge out of that.
Yeah, he does.
He loves it. So we sent over the script to the voice guy and just said it's basically the exact same thing, except here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn. And
now, did you eliminate Ben because he's not going to be there?
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn Jr.
He's on there.
He's not going to be at the roundtable Thursday.
I'll tell you. I think it's in there. I don't know if it's in
All
there
right,
or not.
let's check it out.
We sent over 2 quick lines. It should have been a 30-second MP3 file in return. It was about 4 minutes long. And I go, what
did you send, man?
Happened? Now, if you're a longtime Tier 1, we've played outtakes from the voice guy, the voice of God, before. He's a bit master.
He is a
He
bit master.
loves
Loves
to do
bits.
And
he loves to share them. Remember, he could have simply edited this all out himself and just sent what he was supposed to send
finished product.
to you.
Yeah.
Here it is. This is the raw audio from the voice of God yesterday trying to say Annie's name.
Alongside Stephen Woods, Craig Elston, Chris Hello, and Sam Levitt, here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn. Heilbrunn. Yeah, what am I saying?
It is phonetically spelled out on the script.
Yeah.
Heilbrunn.
Heilbrunn.
Can't figure it
Can't
out.
do it.
Jesus. Heilbrunn. How you doing? Here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn. Heilbrunn. Here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn. Here's your host, Annie.
Annie.
Annie Heilbrunn.
Still can't do it.
Still can't do it.
Sorry. Gotta start over. I'll do it one more time. Here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn. Heilbrunn. Here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn.
Nope.
No.
Still not it.
No.
Brunn.
Brun.
Annie Heilbrunn. Me, Jesus. Here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn.
Oh, getting closer.
Here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn. Here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn. Here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn.
I feel like I'm in an insane asylum right now.
It's that time, Friar Faithful. Time to discuss everything going on with the Padres.
We finally got
we
it.
gathered the
Let's
entire
nail it right
97.3
here.
The Fan crew together to bring you the most in-depth discussion on the Friars in our weekly Padres Roundtable, presented by San Diego Roundtable Pizza. Alongside Stephen Woods, Craig
Come on,
Elston,
baby.
Chris
Come on.
Ello, and Sam Levitt. Here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn. Jesus. Here's your host. What the hell? I gotta truck back it up. Here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn. Here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn. Here's your host,
Oh my God.
Annie Heilbrunn.
He's in the chamber.
That was not bad.
That was good. He is in the chamber, firmly implanted
Dude, that was
in the chamber of torture.
over 2 minutes of him not being able to figure it out. I go, what the hell is going on?
He's amazing.
If I'm Annie, that's my Christmas card this year.
Yeah.
No question about it. No question. That would be in
Heilbrunn. Heilbrunn. Yeah, what am I saying?
What am I saying?
God, Jesus. Heilbrunn. Heilbrunn.
I like when he
How
gets
you
mad
doing?
and he goes, F me. Brilliant.
Annie Heilbrunn. Jesus. Here's your host. What the hell? I gotta truck back it up. Here's your host, Annie Heilbrunn.
Still can't figure it out.
Can't get it.
Now,
You got to send that to Braden and them so they can use it in their show.
I don't need
somehow.
to send it. I don't need to send it to anybody because Annie's on the line right now.
Annie's on the
she was
line.
listening.
Oh
She
my
texted me.
God,
She's like,
yes.
I am dying right now. Hi, Annie. Hi,
No, it's Hanny.
Hanny.
Hanny. Hi.
Annie, how you heal? Heilbrunn.
Hello.
Hi.
Friends, I never want to hear my last name
Ever.
come out of this man's lips ever again. Okay, let's just stop it at Annie.
Annie
And
H.
here's your host, Annie, and that's it.
Annie.
No, nothing after that.
You'll be like Prince, just one name, just Annie. From here
Yes,
on
I
out,
think that's
it's so good. Yeah, it's kind of freaks
think
you
it's
out.
better.
It kind of freaks you out, right? To hear that over and over. Now you don't even know how to pronounce your last
Now
name.
I'm totally lost. It was
Right.
Heilbrunn,
Heilbrunn.
Heilbrunn.
He said
Now I'm lost.
He said Heilbrunn about 100
Heilbrunn.
times. I'm like,
Heilbrunn.
bro, you're not close. It's right there. It's a U. It's not an E. It's a U.
Here's your host, Annie.
Heilbrunn.
Annie.
Here's your host,
that's-
Annie.
Just cut it. Cut it right there.
Oh my gosh, are you nervous
I'll
about
just
hosting?
say it on my own. Is this the guy that has done it for our show too? Because
Oh,
he
yeah.
got it right for
Yeah.
He's just enjoying this way too much.
He was having a day, I think. Annie, are you excited to host on Thursday?
I'm excited, but not, I'm also kind of, I feel like it's like a train wreck almost waiting to happen because Ben is really good at it, and
He's
Ben
elite.
is like sneaky good at it. He makes it seem like it's not hard, and I know how hard that sort of thing is. So, yeah, it should be interesting, Woods. You know, we'll just let it be, I think.
Yeah, I'll help you too. I'll try to talk a lot and
No, he won't.
Yeah, I will.
No, he won't.
I'm way into the round table. You have to give me credit. I've been very engaged in the round tables. Very.
Here's my just
here we go.
2 cents.
Ben's
No.
I'll
explain
take
it
the
to him.
advice.
Yeah.
Chris Ello is paying attention, even though he doesn't look like he is.
Yes.
Just keep that in mind. Woods is already tired after 4 hours of radio in the morning that is done. If you really need someone to talk a lot, Craig is great for that, as you probably already know. He'll get you through a minute or two.
Craig and Sammy will slay it.
And Sammy's always terrific. And then I don't think you don't have Tony. Tony's been my crutch a little bit.
Tony is the crutch. He's the only one that has any experience
Tony is all
doing
of
what
our
we're
crutches.
talking about.
But
yeah.
I feel like sometimes I go to him too much, so it actually might be a little bit easier when you don't feel like I just want to keep going back to Tony for every single baseball point I want to make. Well, Tony, what did you think about that?
Of course.
And I feel like I do that a little too often sometimes, but you'll do great. I have no doubt about it.
I do that too, Ben. Even when you're hosting, I'm like, well, I want to know what Tony thinks. So I completely understand. And it may be because Tony's not there, right? That's gonna open it up, I guess, a little bit. But we love having everyone there. Can't wait for you to be back, Ben. For Tony to be back. Of course, Woods will be there in his polo.
Yes.
So
company man.
We're excited for that.
I'm excited.
Whenever he shows up in the company polo, I feel like we get the best Woods.
You do. It's truly me committed to my craft. While I'll be exhausted from hosting with Ben out and doing that, but I'm excited. I haven't been engaged in the roundtable. I have.
Also, guys,
have to be
watching that Rockies game yesterday. Wasn't there at least however many innings, 6 or whatever, where you were like, this feels like a meaningless September game when you're just like, so I'm excited to see what the Rockies Padres series gives us by Thursday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I asked Paulie this morning, made the point. He goes, well, you know why there were 13 people there last night? They were all at the Nuggets game. And I went, oh, yeah, they had a basketball game as well.
Or they were staying home to watch it on television.
Or they're staying home to watch it on
That's a good
television.
point.
Or
course.
That's exactly right. You could hear literal conversations in the crowd. But yeah, I mean, look, the Rockies played tough last night. I expect them to continue to play tough. They did not look like they fell apart by any stretch. It was a good win. We don't complain about wins on this show, and certainly some things to monitor, though, Annie. And I know you guys will talk about it in depth as well today on your show.
Absolutely, and a great, like you said, great tough game, and one that you rarely see at Coors Field, right? So it was good to see the Padres win that one. The end of the Nuggets game too was phenomenal.
Yep.
So good time, Denver.
If you're a Nuggets
for,
fan,
I guess,
good
fine.
stuff.
if you're a Nuggets fan,
All
right?
right, Annie, thank you.
Yeah.
You've got
Sorry,
that audio
Ben.
forever now, so you can keep that
Annie
and
Heilbrunn.
share that with family
Here's your
and
host,
friends.
Annie Heilbrunn. Heilbrunn. Here's your
It's
host,
right in front.
Annie
Just read it.
Heilbrunn.
He's still. It was unbelievable.
It's incredible.
Let's hear it from your lips. Just
Yeah.
the official pronunciation.
Annie Heilbrunn.
Heilbrunn.
Ooh.
Annie
She
Heilbrunn.
said Heilbrunn.
Like
Brunn.
you're waving hi at someone. Heilbrunn.
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 Okay, let's stop saying my name.
Heilbrunn.
I don't like it's just now I'm starting to, you know what I mean? I'm like, you know what? That's something.
Maybe I should change. Ben went by Dan Stevens on the radio
Dan
for a
Stevens.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's just our host, Annie.
Annie.
Thank you so
We'll,
much for calling in.
We'll hear
Thank you
from you
for
at 10 o'clock
for
this morning.
listening.
We'll see you then.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Keep up the great work.
Bye,
Talk to
Annie.
you soon.
There she is, Annie.
I love
Just
that.
Annie.
guy.
Heilbrunn. Heilbrunn.
Heilbrunn.
How you doing?
Hiya, how you doing?
Heilbrunn.
How you doing?
It's incredible.
Dude, I was dying.
And then you got to weed through all that crap,
Oh.
dude. Oh my lord.
Just get it right. Send me the portion that's right. But then we'd miss out.
But
on
we'd miss
all
out
of
on that.
Fantastic
Do you
goal.
think he
Yes.
knows and he does it as a bit now?
Well, I don't think
How
he's,
you doing?
I don't think he's making the mistakes as a bit, but he's probably sending them to us now.
Because I used to imitate our buddy Foster's hillbilly voice on the air, and I'd be like, "Hey, nice putt," right?
Yeah.
And then he would call and leave voicemails in like a corn pone voice. Hey, y'all, it's me, Foster.
Your
I'm like,
old
oh
hillbilly
my, it's your old
friend.
hillbilly buddy just
You-
sucking on some
You
moonshine.
just have to talk like you normally do.
I'm like, oh my god, he's doing his own. He's reading his own press at this point.
And then we got a minute 40 into that clip from the voice guy, and then the truck backing up. I'm like, what is happening right now?
I thought they all had soundproof studios when they when they work at
Here's
home.
your host, Annie Heilbrunn. Jesus. Here's your host. What the hell? I got a truck backing up.
Oh, there was really a
Yeah.
truck. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was like a figure of speech or something.
You just do this
I
out
got
in
a
his
truck backing up.
living room.
He's
Here's
on his
your host.
iPhone in his driveway. Amazing. What a business we're in. What a business we are in. I love that. Great work, Voice of God. Great work, Annie. Great work, Paulie. Loved it.
So
You
if
can hear the finished product on Thursday at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, question for you when we come back. If you had, let's say $1,000 burning a hole in your pocket,
Okay.
and you wanted to bid on an item from the Padres broadcast auction that went live yesterday,
I'm so jealous of people that win this every year.
I want to know what would you bid on, and
Okay.
we'll give you some of the items
The
that are up
particulars.
for bids. Currently open now until April 27th. When we come back with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. I don't suppose that most of us have an extra, $1,000, $2,000 just burning a hole in our pockets. But
Speak for yourself.
There are some cool items on the Padres broadcast auction.
This is such a good bid.
And they've done this the last couple of years to benefit, I believe, the Padres Foundation, where they create different experiences that you can bid on as a fan. And it's an online auction, and I think it's open for the next 4 days. And top bidder wins some pretty cool things, like chances to meet players one-on-one with Manny Machado is right at the top of the list. You also have Who Wants to Meet El Nino. There is Hanging with Profar, a chance to hang with Jake, meet the rookie. There's definitely, that would be a Jackson Merrill. It's kind of like a pregame meet and greet, autographs, pictures that you get an opportunity for most of the players.
Joe Musgrove.
Yep.
Meet the Padres broadcast teams.
But there's also like pitching lesson from the pitching coach, where if you've got maybe a high schooler or a younger little leaguer, and adult leaguer who wants a little FaceTime with Ruben Niebla, and you can get a pitching coach lesson from an actual Major League Baseball pitching coach is one of the items up for bids.
We need to get them to update their pictures, maybe just a little bit. The Meet the Padres broadcast teams. I don't know why I can't say that. It's a picture of Tony and Jesse, and it's from 6 years ago.
Yeah,
94.9.
94.9 when they took over. We are actually.
Was it 2017, 2018?
Yeah, 97.3 The Fan and your current flagship radio station. We have plenty of logos. Adam would be happy to send one over. ASAP. Yeah, the old 94.9 logo behind.
Padres play here.
Yeah, Padres play here on FM 94.9. Here's Hosier. Wow, that is wild.
Golf and lunch with Mark Loretta and Trevor Hoffman.
Now, see, that's the one I was going to, I would have bid on because I like both of them very much.
And that's at Lowe's Club, Rancho Santa Fe Golf Club as well. That would definitely be a fun one.
But I realized that neither of those guys have texted me back either after the last time I texted them. Mark Loretta, Trevor Hoffman, no text back for your old pal Woods. We've shared many experiences together. Trevor and I, of course, at the Cure, many fantasy camps with Lowe, and some good times at the last one. And I thought to myself, I should bid on it and win it just to ask them, hey, what's your problem?
To make them hang out with
Well,
you.
just, hey, what's your problem? I spent $2,000 to come down here and ask you, what's your problem? What's your beef? You got a problem? Say it. Let's get it out there in the open. Well, I would love to play golf with them. That would be incredible.
Fun. That would probably be the one I'd choose. Right now, the ones that are bid up the most are the CEO Experience for 4, which is 4 lucky guests will be treated to Padres baseball up close. You'll enjoy a first-class pregame meal in the Blue Shield Home Plate Club and watch the game from CEO Eric Grupner's 4 front-row seats.
Seats are incredible.
But the one that actually has the highest bidding so far is enjoy Padres game in the owner's box with Randy Jones. Dinner in the owner's box, endless food and beverages, and enjoying the game with Padres Hall of Fame pitcher Randy Jones. That's got the biggest bid total so far at $2,500 with 5 bids.
You could do a lot worse than taking in a ball game with Randy Jones.
Randy is
in
always
the owner's
entertaining.
suite.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time up there, and I always break his balls about it too. I'm like, oh, you just loading up your plate in there, huh? Why don't you shut the F up, you dumb little P word? All right.
Chance to throw out an honorary first pitch. Padres executive for a day is an interesting one. It's for like
feels like work. I got to go to work.
It's for the idea is for like a college age business student where they go in all day and they meet with executives and see the behind the scenes running of the team and then go to the game that night. You're nodding no. You have no. That's work day.
Hey, come to work and then you have to stay for the game after.
That's a long day.
I just put in a full day here as an executive. I'm going home. I'll watch the game on TV, catch it on 97.3.
Party like an owner at Def Leppard Journey Steve Miller Band concert.
Party like an owner.
You get to get in the owner's box for the concert.
Oh, I bought my missus is going to that concert.
And endless food and beverages for the show as well.
Endless food and beverages. Oh, my God.
It's only at $500 right now. I'm sure it won't end there, but that's the starting bid, and no one's bid on that one yet.
Okay.
It's padres.auctions.mlb.com if you want to check it out yourself.
Johnny says, if I win executive for a day, I'm trading for Acuna.
That's GM for a day. That's different.
AJ's like picks the phone. He's like, all right, we're gonna pull off this trade. Tell him we're gonna go ahead. He's like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this right now. Yes, pull the trigger. So good. I'm trading for Acuna.
You have to go now tell Robbie Snelling
That
he's
he's
been
out.
traded. Just tell him directly.
Yep. Hey, Robbie.
Here's the number.
Who are you?
Here's their number of their traveling secretary.
I'm Mike. I won an auction. Yeah, here's the number to traveling secretary. It's great. Take good care of you. You've been traded to the Braves. Sorry.
Good luck.
Good luck to you. AJ lets you push the button on the email. I just made a trade. I did it. So good. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. So if you have extra cash and want to, help benefit a really great organization, that's a good way to do it. I didn't see the dinner. Is there a dinner with Mud and Don on there?
I didn't see dinner with me. They had that before.
They have, and that one always slipped.
My guess is the twisting of Don's arm to make that happen can't be easy every year.
The other thing
They
too.
do have tickets to the dinner on the Diamond.
Dinner on the Diamond
tickets. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe something happened at one of the last ones we don't know about. So
There is a pregame manager of the day where a lucky youngster 12 and under will join manager Mike Schilt as he prepares for a game. So, you get to go in his office and help him fill out the lineup card and deliver it to the umpires.
Amazing.
I just thought it was interesting. I noticed that every player's starting bid for a chance to hang with Jake, Joe,
Manny,
Musgrove, or Manny, Tatis, they all start at $1,000.
Yeah.
Hanging with Profar starts at $2,000.
Oh, yeah.
So is that? I don't know if that's any different.
Well, that's actually, that one is different. That is an entire team, like a youth baseball
Yes,
or
okay,
softball
there it
team
is.
goes on the field to watch batting practice and then get a team picture with Jurickson. And he's going to give each youngster an autographed baseball as well. So,
that's
and
killer.
that comes with 16 tickets to the game, which is why I think that one starts a little bit higher than the other ones.
Killer. Love it.
Plus, it's Jurickson. I mean, who wouldn't want to hang with Profar if you could? All right, we've got Jesse Agler, who is one of the bid items on the the Meet the Broadcasters. You can chance to meet all of those guys, meet the broadcast teams. He will join us coming up next from Denver. We'll play the Incorporator and talk about last night's win 3-1 over the Colorado Rockies. Next with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Sour 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. Fresh, human-grade dog food. From a healthier weight to more energy, when you switch your dog's food to the Farmer's Dog, the effects can feel magical. What sorcery is this? None at all. It's just real food made for the health of dogs. Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/radio. All right, we've got Jesse Agler standing by.
I heard something.
Jesse Agler is standing by. I think there's one stat we haven't brought up from last night's game that Jesse really appreciated. We will ask him about it right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Tough Turtle Turf. Transform your lawn with ToughTurtleTurf.com. Yeah, it's been tough, all right, out of Escondido this morning. Got this new crash right around Auto Parkway. It's blocking the left lane. Then up ahead, still clearing an accident before Villa Rancho Parkway. They managed to get that push over to the right shoulder. Eastbound 78 near Woodland Parkway, getting reports of a possible brush fire. Some smoke visible in the area. Now westbound side of the 78, accident clearing up near Nordall Road. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Tough Turtle Turf is your go-to for all your landscaping needs. Transform your lawn with our lush, low-maintenance proprietary artificial turf. And add style and functionality with our durable pavers and stepping stones. And so much more. Transform your lawn with Tough Turtle Turf at ToughTurtleTurf.com.
And we welcome Jesse Agler with us here, the voice of the Padres on the road trip in Denver, Colorado. And I don't want to make this sound at all that Jesse doesn't love baseball. He loves baseball. I mean, he is obsessed with it. He is fantastic. But as a broadcaster, especially one who has been to Coors Field many times, the one stat we haven't brought up, time of game last night, 2 hours and 15 minutes, Jesse, at Coors Field. That would have been unheard of before the pitch clock, and even after the pitch clock. That is still a remarkably well-paced game in the mile-high altitude of Denver.
I got 2 words for you. Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Unbelievable.
Impervious to the powers of Coors Field, man. I don't recall seeing anything like that in a long time, if ever. Jesse, that was a lot of fun to watch.
It was incredible. And, look, they've got other examples of guys, putting up similar stat lines, although I don't think anybody ever had the exact stat line that he had last night. But it's like, you watch enough baseball games here, and you never, ever expect that. And particularly, for a guy with a couple of different breaking balls, you figure, all right, like the slider ain't going to slide as much. The curveball's not going to curve as much. And we'll see how he goes about it. And then it was, Tony and I were joking during the game. It was as if nobody told Dylan Cease, hey, it's not the same here. And then, reading a little bit this morning, and I can't wait to go find him and talk to him this afternoon. I guess he said, in the bullpen for the game, he and Ruben were talking about it, and they said, all right, this is going a little high, this is going a little low. So just adjust your sight, just adjust your aim a little bit, and then it'll be fine. And apparently it was that simple. I know I'm making it probably sound easier than it actually was, but I've never seen a guy with his sort of repertoire go out there and pitch as normally as he did in that building. It was really incredible.
He's been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, the comparison has been made a couple of times already. The right-handed Blake Snell, because he gets a lot of swing and miss. He does walk some batters. Aesthetically, how would you compare the two?
Like who's more handsome?
I don't know, just from a baseball aesthetic standpoint.
I mean, the walks are, to me, walks are unaesthetic, right?
Yeah. Correct.
So, that's you're basically asking me who walks more guys. He didn't walk anybody last night.
That's amazing.
I mean, that was very aesthetically pleasing. Blake makes hitters look more foolish.
Correct.
I think than Cease does, because his breaking stuff is so absurd that, he can get the best hitter in baseball to spin themselves around into the box. But I tell you what, Cease has got a little bit more surgeon to him, maybe. And he just has gotten it done. Yeah, we said right at the start, he's got a little bit Blake in him. There's no question it's an apt comparison because, from the right side, it's a very similar thing with a lot of swing and miss. Like you said, there have historically been some walks there. But all I know is it's been really, really fun to watch.
Talking to our pal Jesse Agler here on Ben & Woods this morning, as we do every Tuesday and have for many many years. Certainly appreciate your time. I know you're on the road in lovely Denver, Colorado, counting the hours until it's time to get back to the ballpark to see what the San Diego Padres will provide tonight. We were talking about it yesterday, Jesse. I look at this team right now at 13-12, and I go, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, like, it's pretty good. I don't feel terrible about this team. I think we were talking about aesthetics. Some of the aesthetics they've shown us early this season, it already surpasses like the entirety of last year for me in 25 games. It's crazy.
I agree with that. I think, there is just such a different feel around the team, and it's totally different, right? I mean, they're just, and the good thing in a weird way, right, is that like a good handful of the losses were ugly in that the defense or the base running or something like that, was one of the key factors in the loss. And those are things that are fairly straightforward to fix and correct. And so we can sit here on April 23rd and be like, yeah, some of the base running's got to be cleaned up. Some of the defensive stuff has got to be cleaned up. I mean, remember, 2.5 weeks ago, everybody was worried about Ha-Seong Kim's defense. That's already gone away. Like, he switched back to his old glove, and now nobody's even thinking about Ha-Seong Kim having defensive struggles, including, most importantly, Ha-Seong Kim. And so, that's stuff that, again, is like, that's a lot easier to address than a collective RISP slump, which is what we had last year. That's a lot easier to address than, everybody tightening up in a big at bat late in the game, which seemed to be the case last year. So, like, the stuff that's quote unquote off so far this season, I think is, again, a lot, I never want to say easy, but a lot more straightforward to fix than a lot of the things that ailed the team last year. And that is great. And so, yeah, to be a game over right now, sort of hovering there, playing solid baseball, generally speaking, I think there's like a real sense of like, all right, like, just don't let the thing get away. Don't let the thing spiral. Yeah. And then, let's just let's take it slow and steady for a while here. We'll see where things are a little bit later on in the summer. And then, you kind of take your whack at it. So it's been very watchable. It's been very fun. Look, we've been screaming from the rooftops since spring training. This is a good team. This is a good team. And I think that they're showing that they're a good team. And, have they played like a great team yet? No. But that's okay. Fernando's putting up numbers, but he hasn't gone crazy yet. Manny hasn't gone crazy yet. Xander's still looking to find his footing. I mean, when those things start to happen, they're going to be able to go on a little bit of a tear, and then it should be some fun.
Jesse, Robert Torres has done a great job stepping into Josh Hader's big shoes and got his 8th save last night, got that double play to end it after giving up a couple of hits. Through 15 pitches, 13 strikes, but notably, not every single one of those 15 pitches was a fastball. Finally, for the first time, as you're calling the games, how aware were you of that streak of Suarez just going fastball, fastball, fastball? What I think they said it was 69 straight fastballs before he finally mixed in was it a cutter or a changeup?
Changeup, I think.
Changeup.
Yeah, he's doing bits.
It was a changeup. It was a changeup last night. I think it was. It's funny because like I've seen two different numbers. I think we had 75 straight going into the game yesterday. But like also, I didn't go back and actually count because I'm not.
It's a lot. Whatever it is, it was a lot.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really matter from that perspective. No, I mean we were all over it. We've been all over it for probably the last 3 or 4 times he's pitched because you just don't see stuff like that very often. I mean, we were kind of kicking it around with Mike Schilt before the game yesterday, like trying to think of other situations in which we've seen something like that. And I think, Mike brought up probably the best example, which was Mariano Rivera with the cutter. I mean, maybe like that's, sort of the kind of thing you're thinking about, when it comes to somebody just leaning on one pitch that way. It's pretty remarkable, and it shows like in a way that sometimes things are a lot more simple than we make them in this game. And that's pretty much what Suarez has said after every game. When they'd ask him, hey, you only threw fastballs, he'd be like, it was working. I mean, that was pretty much like he would almost shrug his shoulders at the question, like, why would I throw something other than a fastball? Nobody's getting on base. And like, that's great to hear. The reality is for that position, right? You're going out there, you're being asked to get 3 outs. So if you only need the one pitch, go for it. Don't unnecessarily mix it up. But look, he's got the changeup, which is a really good pitch. He's got the slider, cutter, whatever it is, that he can use as well. And now, we're back into the mode of like, all right, the guy getting into the box has to think about it. And it did appear yesterday the Rockies were not only aware of the fact that he had thrown however many consecutive fastballs, but also, approaching it as if they were only going to see fastballs. So, now that starts to happen, you make a small tack the other way, and you mix it up a little bit. But it's been really cool to watch, just because it's been so effective and so simple. And it's one of those little things in baseball, man, that like we'll be talking about this in 3 years. Hey, remember when Robert Suarez threw like 80 straight fastballs? It's just the craziest things happen in this sport. It's truly beautiful.
It is truly beautiful, and I've grown a lot, Jesse, as a man, because last night when Schilt went to the bench to bring in Tyler Wade and his 560 OPS, I was visibly shaken in my home and made a comment. My wife said, "Oh, you know what's going to happen," and sure enough, that handsome SOB rips one, into the gap, and Padres win, proving as usual we know nothing. And Mike Schilt pushed the right button last night. And that's got to feel good for him. But
what?
Go ahead.
What button did you want?
I don't know.
I asked the same question.
I don't know.
Limited buttons out there.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Graham Pauley's
like
in
you
there
had
too, but he's
buttons,
a rookie.
right?
I get it. I know.
You had 3 buttons. You either stick with Eggie.
Yep.
You go to Wade or you go to Paulie. Wade's a contact guy. Paulie's kind of an all or nothing guy. The ball wasn't carrying last night. Wind was blowing in. And Eggie hasn't had a lot of success against right-handers. So, I mean, that's kind of an obvious one, right?
Yeah. It was more of like, we need a better bench, right? Like, I texted the guys, I said, first one off the bench, and Ben and I had argued early in the season about, getting a better and deeper bench, but this is what they have, and Schilt is using it. I mean, I'm admitting I'm a moron, but I'm saying I didn't tweet it for once. I would have looked like a buffoon, but it was just, it's been indicative of this team of guys kind of stepping up when they need to and when called upon.
Yeah,
I think that's.
And I'll admit, I thought Jurickson Profar would end up on the bench, and that would give the Padres a deeper bench. And I don't think he's going to end up on the bench, Jesse. Yeah, he's getting more and more important, not less and less important as the season goes on.
I tell you what, you talk about the damnedest things, right? The guy last year in Colorado. You look into some of the metrics. There was an argument to be made that last season as a Rocky, when all was said and done, when he was designated, Jurickson Profar was one of the least productive players in baseball. Like, truly, numerically, one of the least productive players in baseball. Then he got to the Padres. He got hot. It was 21 games that he was there. They went 16-5, and you sort of were able to make this, like, ha-ha argument that, like, oh, Profar's back, and the Padres started playing better. But then, like, it's still going, and now you have to, recognize, all right, there's something there. There's something there for the team with him around. There's something certainly there for him, being in that clubhouse, in that uniform, in this environment, that is real. And that is a brilliantly bright example of how, every time we're all playing armchair GM every winter or every trade deadline,
or every game,
it's not just about like or every game, how a guy is hitting or whatever. There is so much more that goes into it. And sometimes you don't know that that's going to go that way. Like, when you went out and you got Brandon Drury 2 years ago, you didn't know, right? Like, he was having the best time of his year, before the Padres went out and acquired him. But that didn't mean that it was going to necessarily continue. How many times have you brought in Adam Frazier? He comes in, he was brutal with the Padres.
Terrible.
But he was having a great season. So it's not as simple as a guy is having a good year and it's going to continue after a trade. Sometimes there is more going on. And we saw that with Blake, getting comfortable and taking a long time to sort of feel, settled in San Diego. These are the things that I imagine keep every general manager up at night, because you would love to just pull up all the numbers, and make like a cold, calculated sort of baseball decision. That is not how this works. These are human beings. They are not robots on spreadsheets. And, that kind of stuff truly matters. Understandably, for some guys more than others. You got your robot dudes. Like, if Mike Trout got traded tomorrow to the Reds, he'd still match. You're not worried about that. But for a lot of guys, it's a big part of it.
And maybe mark it down as another Scott Boras kind of error in the last couple of years, and even kind of letting him go. He could have stayed. Profar could have stayed with the Padres on his option. Chose to opt out, ended up in Colorado. Probably hurt everybody, Jesse, in the long run, missing Jurickson last year, not having him on the team for so long. And Jurickson, obviously, as you said, did not fare that well in Colorado. Quickly, before we get to the Incorporator, we got Michael King again tonight. And, to hope among hope that he can string together a second straight great outing like his last one and follow up what Dylan Cease did last night.
He's been a lot of fun to watch. There's going to come a point, by the way, where everybody's going to have to acknowledge that they've brought in some ridiculous starting pitching the last few years. The moves that they have made, going back to that offseason, when they acquired Snell and Darvish and Musgrove, but like Waka and Lugo last year, Cease and King this year. I mean, I know it's only April and blah, 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 but like they're nailing these ones, man. They are nailing these acquisitions. And, we usually as fans, talk about front office decisions when things are going badly. So let's just throw that out there.
100%.
The starting pitching that has been acquired the last few years has been absolutely incredible.
Bullpen this year as well, just rounding into shape. Eniel De Los Santos and Wandy Peralta and Yuki Matsui and Robert Suarez. You take those four against anyone. I mean, really, they're right there, and a little bit of a scuffle out of the gate, but that's to be expected. And so far, there's some real defined roles. It's really fun to watch. You feel good when they come in.
All right, back on radio this week for the Incorporator. 5:40 first pitch tonight, and Paulie has got it loaded and locked. Or locked and loaded for you here, Jesse.
Right.
Snollygoster.
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 It's a shrewd, unprincipled person.
Wow, that's great.
I don't know anyone that's a snollygoster. All my friends are not shrewd, and they have principles. Okay? Snollygoster.
You want principled friends.
Yeah, you do.
Look, you hang out with a snollygoster, and people are going to judge you, so I understand.
Bad things happen.
It's like the villain of a lot of, cartoons.
Snollygoster.
Snollygoster.
It's a great word to hear in a baseball broadcast. I look forward to hearing it, Jesse.
Sounds like, could be like a hit. Like, there's so many.
Yeah, like a duck fart.
Yeah.
Look at that, it's a snollygoster.
Yeah.
Did I say fart?
Ripped it down the right field line. Yeah, that's a real snollygoster.
That would be
Tyler Wade in the pinch.
Yes.
That wouldn't be the most creative way to use it. I mean, obviously it would be effective. I'd like to see the actual usage come out though tonight.
Look, Ben, when you texted me a couple of weeks ago breaking down the different incorporator strategies, I laughed so hard. So for you tonight,
what did he do?
I will use.
You missed this?
I told you this.
Oh, you don't know?
Oh, yeah, we did this.
No, we talked about it.
We talked about it.
Okay. I will use the dictionary definition meaning of snollygoster tonight. I will give you a literal usage this evening just for you.
Thank you very much. You can catch Jesse again tonight, 4:40 Eco Water SoCal pregame show, 5:40 first pitch. Jesse, enjoy the thin air of Denver for another few days.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
Jesse Agler, voice of the Padres Incorporator tonight. Snollygoster is the word, yeah.
Somebody in the chat had recommended it, and I forgot who you are, and I apologize. You know who you are.
They know who they are.
Yep, good
and that's
job.
all that really
Snollygoster.
Love it.
That's a funny sounding one.
Yeah, I like the funny sounding
Yeah,
ones.
we also have the different incorporator words. Some are just funny sounding. Some are like challenging definitions.
Yeah.
This one's more of a funny sounding one.
You forgot about this? He texted Jesse and was like, he Ben's
there's the
all the different ways.
There's the long setup where he's like tells a story to get to it.
Jesse.
There's the crime of opportunity where he just finds a way to sneak it in because the conversation has gone in an interesting direction.
Yeah, I think I remember us talking about it. I don't remember
he actually
texted
him.
You texting him and bothering that
man.
Yeah, I did.
Who does nothing but give us his time.
Oh, yeah.
He apparently enjoyed it. So, and then there's the true incorporator where it actually fits like somehow in the baseball broadcast. The most rare of the incorporator usages. All right, we got 1 hour to go. Paulie's going to give us some headlines, Reindl Report, stuff we haven't gotten to yet. Ben Woods continuing in a moment here on 97.3 The Fan. Thanks again to Jesse Agler joining us, and he's got his incorporator word for tonight.
Like when he calls me out for being a moron, and I fully was admitting
I called you out earlier.
Yeah,
the same reason.
Well, his opinion counts to me.
I get it.
He doesn't bully me and say that I look like the Schwab.
Sometimes the
Rest in
voice
peace.
you hear every day, whether it be a spouse or a family member or a radio co-host, kind of becomes easier to tune out after
In one
a while,
ear.
even when the advice may be good.
And out the other.
Does happen.
It's very true.
But Jesse made the same point I did, that you can be frustrated that Tyler Wade is the first guy coming off the bench, even though it is absolutely 100% the right decision by Mike Schilt in that situation.
Yeah, my beef was never with Schilt. My beef was
What's up, my dudes? How you doing?
Hey, we're good. How you doing, Skip? It's good to talk to you again. Great move last night. Way to push that button. Really, really well done.
That was sexy.
Yeah, it was. It was. You really crushed that.
I like the way the game was played.
Yeah, I did too. I enjoyed it very much. Good game.
Good game.
Yes.
Good game.
Yep.
GG's.
All right.
We are we're now in my 24-hour window.
It is like hell on
for
earth.
Vacation.
It is
so
hell.
I apologize.
On earth.
for
He
if
is
I
gone.
May seem distracted.
Have you you're playing in a golf tournament?
Correct.
Have you you've never played at this course? I'm
I've
assuming.
never played at this course.
How much have you game planned online already?
A ridiculous amount, actually.
I figured.
You know
exactly
I've gone
what's...
through. They have like flyovers of the holes. I've like Google mapped to look like where's the best places perhaps to hit the shots.
Have you looked at restaurants in the surrounding area?
Not really, because the club, there's like food with the tournament, so we're probably just going to be eating mostly there at the events. So we haven't really had a lot of time to research or need to research restaurants. For
You've
this
been
trip.
sitting at Channel 10 at night.
Yeah.
Plotting out
between like the
shot
6
by
and
shot,
the 11 o'clock
between
news
the
when
6
I've got
and
a little
11.
time. And Padres game's over. I'm killing a little time. Yes, I have. I have plotted shot by shot via Google Earth.
You're
as to
unbelievable.
where I'm going to, what the strategy will be for this hole. Now, do I want to hit a driver here, or is this more of a 3-wood off the tee sort of hole?
I knew it. I knew it.
Oh, yeah.
And let's be honest, at 9:02, you're still doing it in your head. I know you. I know you inside and out. Right now you're looking at me and you're nodding and you're in the chat and you're here on the air, but you are in Henderson, Nevada right now.
Did you say something?
Yeah, exactly. Look at it, like just a blank stare. It's just, oh man.
No, I will focus at least through mock the draft tomorrow.
Okay. That's at 7.
And then after that,
maybe you just leave.
Yeah, seriously.
We can just boot him. We got Booney and
Sure,
Adam
you've
Jones.
got plenty.
If you're literally telling us that you're not going to be there
actually.
mentally for the next
Who
2
knows?
hours, what are we doing?
Who knows? If you can kick me out at any time after mock the draft tomorrow.
I can go both
You
ways.
have the authority. I will stay up until 9, which is when I have to leave. But if you want to kick me out before that, you go, just go. I will leave.
Padres support group says, lights on, no one home. That's exactly him in a nutshell right now. The lights are on. There is nobody inside.
Fair enough.
Yep.
All right, let's let Paulie get us some headlines. It's time for the Reindl Report. And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right. Is that jarring music again?
It was our category today on Take on Woods.
What was?
All right.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That was jarring music.
All right. jarring.
All right. This category is jarring music coming up next. Oh, God.
What was that?
Oh,
You know,
wow.
You know what, Ben? That's not a bad
It's
category.
not a bad category.
What would you call it, just quickly, what would you say is a jarring song that most of us are like familiar with?
It's jarring.
That's jarring. That's a jarring song.
Something like Pantera or something, death metal-ish.
I was thinking like Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy doesn't jar me. Well, maybe. The beginning of Crazy Train.
Aha, that's jarring.
Scares you to death every
Maybe
time
that's how you
hear
should
it.
celebrate a Padres win in the morning.
Instead of
a
my
primal
guttural scream.
Ben's
wipe out. Hell's Bells isn't really jarring. It's just a bell sound, which is cool. Jarring music. Please get that done at some point. Think
Tough one. That's
Think
a tough
of jarring songs when on your drive out
Yeah.
to Henderson.
5.5 hours.
Brass Monkey.
Brass
by
Monkey
it's not a bad call.
Yeah.
It's the. It's jarring.
Jarring.
It's good call.
All right.
All right, this was not that jarring, but in the NFL yesterday, we had a quarterback trade. The Jets sending Zach Wilson to Denver. I don't know why. I was not surprised in the slightest. I look at Zach Wilson, I go, yeah, he seems like a Denver Bronco.
I don't know who their GM is these days. I don't really care either, but I do get the sense that the higher ups there in Denver are like, is he mediocre AF? He's mediocre AF? We'll take him. Yeah. Sign him up.
I mean,
Real
I don't
quick,
think
look up
there's.
mid in the dictionary.
Yeah, is he
there it is, Zach
mid? Is he
Wilson.
mid AF?
I don't think
Look
there's
out.
any question that Russell Wilson is the better Wilson quarterback that Denver has had now in the last couple of years. They've downgraded to a lesser Wilson.
Are they the most? Got to be one of the most frustrating teams to be a fan of. I would imagine. Like they got the Nuggets there. They're stoked. The Rockies are not. They're not doing anything. You got your Broncos, and they have that radio station there that's dedicated 24/7 to the Broncos. That's the worst job in sports media. The worst job in sports media. It has to be.
It feels like, and I've not done any research on this, but it feels like there's always one good team in Denver and one good team alone. And it was the Broncos for a while, and then the Avalanche and the Rockies and the Nuggets all stank. Now the Avalanche
Stank
had
or
a
stunk?
stunk.
I like that.
The Rockies had a good moment, but the other team now the Nuggets are good and everybody else is not good. Just feels like they get one at a time. And that's it.
I mean, here's a tweet right here. Denver Broncos have been discussing this trade for weeks. After exploring the veteran free agent quarterback market, there's belief in the Denver building that Zach Wilson still has tons of talent and potential. I mean, anytime you have a top 5 pick in the draft, somebody's going to give that dude a look over and over. And the Broncos seemingly are that team every year.
The Jets pretty much had to and wanted to get rid of him, though. So, you're kind of doing the Jets a favor by taking him off their hands.
Yeah, the Jets, he was number 2 draft pick in
number
2021. And so the Jets are getting in exchange for Zach Wilson this week's 6th round pick.
Yeah, this week's.
Number 203. And then the Broncos are also getting a 7th round pick along with Wilson.
Okay.
And then he is owed $5.5 million a season. The teams are splitting that.
All right.
$2.75 million each.
It's basically a giveaway. So you're trading a 6th for a 7th. So you're just moving down a few slots.
Cost you almost $3 million.
How about this?
Taking on some money.
How about this list? Brock Osweiler, Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Case Keenum, Drew Lock, Brandon Allen, Jeff Driscoll, Brett Rippon, Philip Lindsay, Teddy Bridgewater, Russell Wilson, Jarrett Stidham, and now Zach Wilson. I mean, it is just as...
Teddy Bridgewater is like the class.
The class of that
entire group.
Yeah, I left out Flacco. He started 8 games. I mean, because he's good. But other than that, yeah, man, it's tough.
Debatable also.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw a note here on ESPN's story. In that 2021 draft with Zach Wilson, there were 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round. Only one of them is still with their team. That was 3 years ago.
Oh, the Avs are very good. The Colorado.
The Avs are also good this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should know that, Mr. Hockey Guy.
I know I should.
All right, moving on. This is kind of sports. It has to do with Tom Brady. Tom Brady is going to have a comedy roast. The roast of Tom Brady.
The roast of Tom Brady.
And it's going to air live on Netflix.
Okay.
May 5th.
I'll watch that.
May 5th at 5 o'clock on the West Coast.
Tough guy to roast?
Yeah, I'd say so. Now, you said you were going to watch it. I don't know if Kevin Hart's hosting it.
Oh, never mind.
Jeff Ross is going to be there, as he is with literally every single comedy roast.
Greatest of all time. Yeah.
It's going to be at the Kia Forum in Inglewood. It's part of the Netflix is a Joke Festival, which goes over like a span of 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
Every major star in comedy is there. So part of the festival is going to be the live. Netflix has tried and failed with some of their live broadcasts, but they're going to give it another go here in a couple of weeks. Tom Brady going to get roasted. And I imagine, usually the roastee does do some comedy, or at least they
you
talk.
go up at the end and talk, and then you rip everybody else that's up there.
It reminded me of a story that we had a little over a year ago, because I went and pulled it. Tom Brady, I think it was a hoax or just a total joke that Tom Brady was thinking about getting into stand-up comedy, and we had a Breaking Ben. Remember his big punchline from Tom Brady? What did the linebacker say to the flight attendant?
It's got to be fake.
Put me in, coach.
All right.
Of course, Ben liked it.
Were we in a submarine?
It got, this was from our old YouTube before we fixed all the audio.
Put me in, coach. Got you.
I'm not laughing at the joke. I'm laughing at Ben.
I hate everything about it.
Tom Brady's the greatest comedian of all time.
Yeah, what do you make fun of him for? His chin butt?
Well, I mean, if you're really mean,
his divorce.
His divorce and
That's
his
not
wife
funny.
probably cheating on him. But that seems too mean. Out of the fact that we didn't talk about that, you see, he was on a podcast like last week and said he wouldn't be opposed to a late season NFL return.
I did. I saw that.
Maybe he'll end up as the next Denver Broncos quarterback
Could be.
late in the year next year.
I mean, they could do worse, and they continue to do that.
Hey, if they tread water with Zach Wilson and late in the season, they go, we can upgrade, though. How about Tom Brady as our quarterback?
6 rings, right? 6?
Yep.
6 rings?
7.
7 rings? God bless.
One without Belichick.
Yeah. Supermodel wife for most of his time. I mean, I'm sure the replacement is not unattractive. Toast of the town. What do you...
Seems like a good guy.
Yeah, seems like a good dude. He does have the chin butt. Which I always kind of wanted.
It's like a cleft in the chin.
I don't know if it's a cleft. He's got the chin butt. It's got the
It's just got a crack in it.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
I always kind of wanted it, but I never had it. You don't have it. Either.
We've talked a lot.
There's going to be some wheels are in motion. All right,
In
I've been doing some Google searches lately. I've been doing some pricing.
And you say you actually do want butt chin.
I would, if I had it, I wouldn't be opposed to
You
it.
would prefer
I
it.
wouldn't get it put in.
It comes with the chiseled
You don't
jaw.
want to just
Does it?
as long as you're going under. Maybe you just
No,
want them to add.
I don't want them to add one. That would be if I showed up with a chin butt. You guys would be like, "All right, bro."
I guess I associate it with
Chiseled.
like good shape. I don't see a lot of like
well,
big
I mean,
guys with butt chins.
Well, obviously,
Usually
once you eat a lot and the face swells up, you lose the definition.
Maybe
of
I
the
had
chin.
one when I was a kid.
All right. So you didn't know if Tom Brady being a comic was a joke. I didn't know if this last story was a joke or not. But I guess thoughts and prayers with Celine Dion.
Oh no, you are doing this story. This is not a joke. This is a real thing.
Well, I don't know. It's not a thing though. I've never heard of.
Well, are you
just because you
are you a
haven't heard of
physician?
it.
I was going to say.
She's dealing with stiff person syndrome.
I think that's a real.
Is that a real thing?
I think it is.
Yeah,
I thought it was an Onion article, and then I had to do some.
It's a rare autoimmune neurological disorder.
Well, hope she pulls through. She says that she has not gotten through it. It's still with me, always will be. I hope
There's
that
no treatment.
She's going to find a miracle, a way to cure it with scientific research. I just don't know if it's like just pain or if she's like dying from it. There was not a lot of detail from her story.
I don't know that if it's fatal or not.
It doesn't really matter. We feel nothing but sympathy for her. We know why you did this story, so just play it, Paulie. We know why you brought this story up. You did it for one reason, didn't you?
I mean,
just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Oh my God, I'm so stiff.
There it is. There it is.
Nailed it.
Yes, we know what you're up to over there.
Celine.
We know.
I really do hope she's okay. She says, I work on my toes, my knees, my calves, my fingers, my singing, my voice. I have to learn to live with it and stop questioning myself. But again, there's no details on if this is like a fatal disease or if it's just like a chronic thing that you have to deal with.
It's a good reminder that even people who seem to have, everything in life, celebrity, talent, fame, the works, We all
get
deal,
old.
We all deal with something, whether it's physical issues, health, personal life issues. Everybody, even the happiest and most successful of people, are dealing with problems. Everybody has problems.
It doesn't sound fun. I was reading about it. I went, oh, my God, that sounds terrible. So I hope she's okay. She's a nice lady. You do wonder. She says she's looking for a miracle. You wonder if, maybe like weed or something, or CBD or something like that.
They need a better name for stiff person.
They do.
Syndrome,
I think we
That's
can
a misleading headline.
It is. Like you saw that and you're like, ha ha ha. What is this? It's like you. I would make the joke that you have stiff person.
Autoimmune rigidosis or
right,
something.
Yes,
that
yes.
would sound more serious.
AIR, right?
Yeah,
100%.
Than stiff person syndrome, SPS, is just a bad name for it. And that's not her fault.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I would assume with the resources that she has and the medical team that she's probably been working with, if it was just as simple as CBD, they'd probably have figured that out.
It's not fatal, Jeffrey says. It's something that will need lifelong care. Yeah. All right. Thank you for that.
We've got a giveaway. We've got Parker McCollum tickets that we'll give out. Look ahead to Padres tonight's game against the Colorado Rockies, game 2 of the series, and more coming up with more Ben and Woods after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Interesting Twitter happenings from our boss, Adam Klug. Did you see this, Ben? Last night, Tony Gwynn Jr. is a big Lakers fan. So last night, it was after the game. Obviously, our boss, Adam, tweeted thoughts and prayers at Tony Gwynn Jr. Well, I had people in my DMs going, hey, is everything okay with Tony and his family? And I said,
oh, no.
Now, I got it pretty soon after. Like, I saw it, and I went, oh, Lakers.
But if you had gone to bed before that game ended or something, if you, woke up and saw Adam's tweet, just thoughts and prayers.
Out of context.
Out of context.
Out of time context.
Scared a lot of people. And I admonished him on Twitter, as I've been known to do from time to time. And I said, I'm 99.9% sure this is a basketball tweet, but I've got people in my DMs asking if Tony and his family are okay. Well done, boss. And he came in and he's like, of course it was about. I go, you could hashtag it and just say hashtag Lakers.
Even a gif of the Nuggets or celebrating something, basketball, anything.
A picture of a basketball.
I think we all sometimes forget that not everyone sees our social media posts within the first 5 minutes that we post them.
That's right.
I sometimes feel that like when I'm live tweeting along with a game.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would not have taken I would not have taken that pitch there. It has no meaning if someone logs on 7 hours later and looks like, I have no idea what that's about. And I understand that. So,
but it begs the question: was that a D move from the boss? Here, he's right there. Let's get him to answer. Adam, come answer for yourself.
Defend yourself.
Defend yourself. Is that a jerk move to do to someone right after a dagger?
Rub their nose.
Rub their nose in it. Yes.
In the fact that their team just lost.
You're rubbing your nose in that loss last night. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning.
It's good to have you. You scared a lot of people.
I didn't mean to.
Of course.
A, I didn't mean to scare
well.
anybody. And B, it was not meant as a shot or anything snarky towards Tony Gwynn Jr. That was a legitimately heartbreaking loss the Lakers had last night.
Gnarly loss.
I was watching it live, and I screamed when that shot went in, even though my kids were asleep. And it was a legitimate, hey, man, I've had a lot of heartbreak for the sports teams that I follow. Tony Gwynn, I'm thinking of you. That's all it was.
Do you want to talk about...
This is the Atlanta Braves and Georgia football fan talking about heartbreak.
Atlanta Falcons.
I was just going to say, do you want to talk about 28-3 We could. Well, okay,
I have not heard that joke before. Why don't you tell me all about it?
So after that, if it happened this year, 28-3, Falcons are up. You're like, hey, we run the football. We're winning this game. Game ends. And I tweet thoughts and prayers at Adam Klug. You're a little bit hot about it. You would be.
I legitimately would not be.
Really?
What? You're thinking of me. You realize I'm in the chamber.
What
and
was
you're
that
saying
like
your thoughts.
anyway?
Yeah, what was that?
What was that like? The Super Bowl.
Jokes aside.
Your team is up 28-3 in the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
I was producing national radio at the time for CBS Sports Radio. I was in Houston broadcasting Monday through Friday in the lead up to the game, right? And I was doing everything I could to try and stay in Houston. I was only there through Friday. I'm like, I should stay, but it's like hotels are expensive. How do I get into the game?
Insane.
If I would have ended up spending $10,000 whatever to stay for
and you
that,
would have.
it would have been over.
Okay, what would have been worse?
So you ended up just watching it at home, or
correct? I was watching at home, and honestly, I've been through a lot of heartbreak. At that moment, is before the Braves in Georgia, and I know that my team's always choke things away. And that whole season, I was in on the Falcons that year. I knew they were going to be awesome, and I believed. But that whole game, I'm telling my wife, it's over. Like, we're winning this game. She's like, Adam. I go, no. I know what I always do. This one's different. She goes, Adam, not until it's over. I go, Alyssa.
Premature.
I go, they're up 28-3. There's no way they can blow this.
I'll never forget it, man. I never will forget where I was watching the comeback. I was
also at the game, the Georgia-Alabama National Championship in 2016. It was in the Georgia Dome. So it was basically a home game for the Bulldogs in Atlanta. And this was, they hadn't won a title since 1980. So Georgia fans are like rabid. Georgia was up 10 points in the fourth quarter in basically a home game. Ooh. And that was the game. It went to overtime, and Tua came off the bench. He hadn't thrown a pass all season, and he lofted a touchdown in overtime to win the game. Walk-off touchdown in overtime.
That's a gut-wrencher,
That was brutal.
There is as a longtime San Diego sports fan, there is a desperation when your team that never gets really far, and you feel like, we have to take advantage of this because who knows when we'll ever have this chance again. You grew up as a Yankees fan, and I'm sure it hurt when they didn't win the World Series and were eliminated. But you also thought, well, we'll probably be back next year and have another opportunity. As a Padres fan, when Tino Martinez had that grand slam in 1998.
But it's different for certain teams. Yankees fans expect to be back. The Royals
I
make the
don't
World
expect
Series,
to be
Padres.
back. That's the thing. Even though they can, I don't know that they will be.
It's not that the Luis Gonzalez hit up the middle didn't just gut, especially in the year that had happened with 9/11 and all that. Like that was, you knew they were winning and the late comebacks and all that. But yeah, I was never, you get over it. The one that hurt me the most in my life was the Red Sox coming back. I never
from the 3-0 deficit.
3-0 deficit. I got in a fist fight.
To them.
I got in a fist fight that night at a bar. It was ugly. It was ugly.
I mean, that Falcons Super Bowl, it was the second Super Bowl the Falcons had ever been to, the last one being like 98, and that was when they got just blitzed by the Broncos with John Elway.
Yep.
Falcons safety Eugene Robinson got arrested the night before, and you're like,
that's right.
You're like,
they prostitute, right? Yes.
Exactly. You're like, they have no chance in this game.
I forgot about that.
So it had been 20 years.
The night before.
Right. What are you doing, dude?
What are you doing, man?
10 years ago, I was 5 years removed from my move from Seattle to here, and I'd pretty much become a Chargers fan, was working in sports radio, just starting out. So I had adopted the Chargers as my football team, but the Seahawks were in the Super Bowl that year against the Patriots, and I went out to Scottsdale to watch from a bar with a bunch of Seattleites, all my friends, and I was pulling for them. It just, my heart wasn't quite in it.
Right.
Being with diehards when they threw that interception on the goal line.
The Marshawn Lynch.
Didn't hand it off to Marshawn Lynch. I mean, you talked about what happened to you. My buddy got in a huge fight with someone.
100%.
He was
it's
so mad.
dumb, man. I was also 75 Budweisers deep in Game 7.
Oh, yeah, we've been drinking since like 8 a.m.
You're like, there's no way they can do it. And in my warped mind, I go, oh, good. Let's let them all the way back in, 3-3, and then let's kick the S out of them. And boy, they came out. It was some of the best baseball. If you can go back now and look at it, some of the best baseball you've ever seen in your life played in that series, the way that the Sox came back. I mean, it was crazy.
As a Padres and Chargers fan, they never got
There's
so
that one
close.
game that went like 17 innings,
It was
right?
brutal, man.
So close to the title that I felt it was ripped away. I think the biggest gut punches were, Bryce Harper's home run.
Yeah,
that was still only if they win that one, they only get to Game 6, so you don't know what's going to happen, but that was a gut punch.
And you guys were talking earlier about Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. Bryce Harper feels like feared right now. Like you pitch against him in the playoffs. You're like, I don't want to pitch to Bryce Harper.
Exactly right. That's exactly
Barry
right.
Bonds-esque.
Yeah.
Teams are signing left-handed, high velocity
to try to get him
pitchers just for playoff at bats against Bryce Harper.
Yep.
But the biggest one, I think, still for me was the Marlon McCree fumble. Just because I thought that team was probably going to win the Super Bowl. I thought they had the best team that year. So rare that a San Diego team actually you think they've got the best team.
The Chargers Super Bowl against the Niners is like the Falcons against
I
the
knew
Broncos.
I knew they were
destroyed.
going
You're like,
10 minutes.
I
Didn't
wasn't
even need to
surprised. I was
watch.
hoping, but I really wasn't surprised. I was surprised. I thought they were going to beat the Patriots. I thought they were going to go to the Super Bowl that year, and they had a really good chance to win it. That one, to me, was the hardest reversal as a fan to take.
The Padres-Philly series a couple years ago hurt because I traveled to Philly with the team to cover for the station. And it's they just had to win one game to bring the series back to San Diego. It's we would have coverage and content at home games.
Yep.
And they lose 3 in a row on the road. It was brutal.
That was tough, man. That was a tough one. Tough one in the stomach. Well, good. You didn't mean to rub it in.
I love Tony Gwynn Jr.
I do too. It's great.
I
make fun of the
no
Lakers,
harm.
and I know he gets mad at me.
In fact, I'll apologize. If it was taken as uncouth behavior, then I apologize. It was not meant that way.
You know the thing, though? I would say this, and I stand by this. Tweeting it is better than texting someone. Don't text. If the Irish lose to SC on the last play of the game, do not text me, dude.
At least it's private. It's not in front of everybody.
I will rage.
When the Falcons blew that Super Bowl, my phone's blowing up. I'm like, I don't want to talk to any of you.
Yeah, don't text me, man. Do not text me after a big L.
I mean, I don't think you should do it, period. But I think putting it out on social media is worse.
It doesn't bother me.
So you call me a bad guy is what you're doing.
Yeah. That was a bad guy moment.
That was a bad move. But it's all right. It's all right.
All right, we got to take a timeout. Before we do that, we have a couple of tickets to give away. Parker McCollum at Calco's Credit Union Open Air Theater on October 25th. You can win them right now. Be the second caller. Dial fast. 833-288-0973. You can win 2 tickets to Parker McCollum. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. 833-288-0973. Come back. Final segment. I just saw it's the this week is the anniversary of one of the most polarizing sports movies of all time. We'll also look ahead Padres game tonight. Last segment of Ben and Woods next year on 97.3 The Fan. Still talking about gut punch losses as a fan. Growing up, just the worst ones. Paulie had a couple of more talking about when he was a Mariners fan and they went to the playoffs with 116 wins. What was it?
Yeah,
and they lost in the playoffs to the Yankees.
It wasn't so much a gut punch. Like I think gut punch. I think like walk off.
Yeah, walk off.
Just completely blindsided by the loss. But that was a team that I watched every game that year. They won 116 and had just cruised all year. And then like 9/11 happened. Baseball went away for a week or two. And you run into the Yankees, and you're like, the whole world is rooting for New York right now. And like,
wild.
Part of me, I get it. And you're just like, there's something working against us right now.
You also brought up the Aztecs lost to UConn in the Sweet 16 in Anaheim in 2011 when Kemba Walker flopped, got the technical foul called in a very close game in the second half. And Paulie made the good point. The reason why that one hurt so much is that you felt like that team had a chance to win the whole thing and go all the way. And you maybe never dreamed that San Diego State would get that opportunity again. Now, of course, we know, 12 years later, they would, in fact, make it to a Final Four in a national championship game. But at that time, you're going, that may be our only chance ever. And that was our best opportunity.
Especially when the team that flops and beats you in the Sweet
Goes
16
on and
goes
wins
on
the
to
whole
win the
thing,
whole
yeah.
thing. You're like, oh my God.
Remember, UConn always goes on to win the whole thing when they beat San Diego State.
That's exactly right. And somebody, C20 Moreno said, I think he said Aztecs last year was worse. That
I
one
disagree
was
with that.
It was an early round, like you felt like it was over pretty early, and you were really proud of how far that they'd come, but it didn't feel like, man.
You had the incredible high of the buzzer beater in the Final Four game.
It's a bad feeling to look and go, yeah, I don't give us much of a shot, right?
We need to play a perfect game.
Got to play a
and
perfect game. They
need
have to
slip
play
up a little bit.
crap game. Yeah, for sure.
2020 was honestly worse than last year when the Aztecs were like looking at a 1
Yes.
seed and
Didn't
the whole
even
thing
play, yeah.
goes away
Yeah.
because of COVID. That was a year that you look at, none of the blue bloods were there. No, like it was up for grabs. You're like, this team can absolutely win it.
Its sports are really stupid. I mean, it's really
Why do we
like
them? What are we doing?
It really is incredible.
And it is the math of sports that makes them stupid.
Yes.
You have however many teams, and only one of them wins a championship, and every single other one in some way ends in disappointment, whether it's seconds away from a title or you finish in last place and it was a horrible year. It's always painful for 29 other baseball teams, 31 other football teams, 367 other college basketball teams. It always ends in pain for everybody but one team.
Is that why Dodger fans are so salty and mean? Because you want to talk, I mean, look, be honest. You want to talk about gut punches? The Astros getting them. Padres knocking them out after 111 wins.
But if you talked to Buffalo Bills fans from 1994
Similar,
through
yeah,
1998,
yeah.
they're still mad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just, it's going to live on for years.
Yeah, but
get there.
The Bills ran up against some really big
True.
juggernauts. The Dodgers, you don't
Doesn't matter.
look
They never
at.
faced a team where you thought, well, they don't have a chance
Correct.
against that team.
Correct.
4 straight Super Bowls, though, and then just come away with nothing.
Crazy,
Oh,
man.
God.
Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Yeah, Scott Norwood, clearly, to get that close and need just a field goal to win a Super Bowl and not get it, one of the worst of all time.
No
All
doubt.
right, we'll check traffic, take a look ahead at today's game, Padres Rockies, right after Kelly on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Air Max, San Diego's highest rated heating and air company. Still some tough times coming down from the North County, not southbound 15, slowing from Gopher Canyon. Now, there is some road work that's got the right lane blocked between Center City and 78, but 2 separate crashes in Escondido, one at Auto Parkway, still blocking the left lane, another crash up ahead near Via Rancho Parkway. That's been moved over to the right shoulder. Once you're past that, you should be in pretty good shape. Looking for the best in HVAC? Choose Air Max, San Diego's highest rated heating and air company with free diagnostics on all repairs and estimates. See why over 1,300 happy customers have given Air Max 5-star Yelp reviews. See Air Max today at airmax.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, the formula worked yesterday, so Padres basically trying it again. Very similar kind of matchup with Michael King on the mound, coming off a really good start, threw well, and going up against Ryan Feltner. He's a right-hander,
Hardly
but
know her.
has kind of similar numbers to Austin Gombers that they brought into the game yesterday. Padres once again, feel like this is a matchup you can and should win as you try to get this series victory, at least 3 out of 4 against the Rockies.
He's a little better stuff than
Yeah.
Austin Gomber. Throws a little bit harder.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing
That's
for
not
the Padres
no,
offense.
No,
so-
it's somebody tweeted me last night. Man, we can't hit slow pitching. We can't hit fast pitching, and it's the gif of the old man banging a hammer into his head, which may be my favorite one on Twitter. And I said, I know it can be a little bit frustrating. Sometimes you just need the breaks to go your way. They have gone the Padres' way. I feel more often this year than all of last season. But his expected numbers, Benny, are actually pretty good. I mean, his expected ERA is around 3, which is really good. Expected batting average about 192. He throws 95. Like he's going to be a little bit different look.
Yeah, he's in 6 fewer innings pitched than Michael King. He's struck out only 3 fewer batters.
Yep.
He's walked 7 fewer batters. He's given up 2 fewer home runs.
Right.
His ERA is higher, but he pitches at Coors Field.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, not bad by any stretch of the imagination.
Slider and fastball is really what you're going to see from him. So you pick right and time it up. You should have a good day.
You've caught the Rockies offense at a good time for the Padres. They've been struggling at the plate before even the Padres got there. C's kept them struggling. I think they've gone 6 straight games without a home run. I mean, I said it yesterday, 5 straight games, and now it's 6 for them. Michael King, I think the key is try to keep him in the park again, because he has had the tendency to give up a couple of home run balls in his first few starts. That's the Rockies' probably best path is if they can break out of that skid and get a couple off of Michael King, then it'll be a battle. If he keeps him in the yard, I like the Padres' chances.
Yeah, I do too. And again, this isn't Feltner's not somebody that's going to fool you a lot. I mean, it's basically one of 2 pitches, and he will mix in a changeup every now and then. He will mix in, what was his other pitch? A sinker, very rarely, and a curveball even more rarely than that. So you're sitting heater and reacting to the slider, and if he hangs one, you bang it, and let's get early and often, and back up our pitcher tonight. I don't want to see another one of those games, Benny, where we're stranding 10, 11 guys before the offense breaks through. Were you as surprised as I was with some of the stuff you saw out of the Rockies bullpen last night?
I think those were their 3 best guys.
That second guy that came in, I can't remember his name. He looked pretty nasty, man. I was like, that's not a guy I would
first
mind
guy
having.
wasn't bad either. Vodnik.
That's what I mean. Vodnik,
he was
the first guy.
and he pitched 2 innings, so he's probably not available tonight. But he threw pretty well.
He did. There was some impressive arms down there. They just don't have a lot to work with and pitching in that ballpark. Hopefully the ball is flying out for the boys today.
All I could think of was like vodka tonic every time I saw his name. Vodnik.
Yep.
Vodka tonic. Vodnik. But now they've used those guys, and their bullpen has not been good. So if you can get drive the pitch count up on Feltner a little bit and try to get into that bullpen again, that should bode well for the Padres also.
And our bullpen is locked and loaded. Plenty of fresh arms down there. A lot of guys have not been used in a while. Brito hasn't pitched since Saturday. Yuki Matsui hasn't pitched since Saturday. Tom Cosgrove hasn't pitched since Friday. Morihone Friday. Kolek Friday. So, if King does get in any trouble, Mike Schilt will have...
I would say Suarez probably want to stay away from him on the 3rd straight day. Felt like his velo was down a tick or 2 from Sunday to Monday.
Yep.
So if you can avoid Suarez, I would think Mike Schilt would like to do that.
But yeah, I'm going to be interested every day to see what the lineup looks like. I am, and I do wonder, if Mike Schilt will consider making some changes, at the top of the lineup especially. But we'll see.
He won't after a win.
Yeah, he probably won't.
I doubt it.
He probably won't.
So I saw that this week is the 35th anniversary of the release of Field of Dreams, which is, I think, one of the more polarizing sports movies in terms of people who love it and people who think it's like the dumbest movie. And I'm always conflicted because if I actually think about it, it's a pretty dumb movie. I mean, like pretty dumb. But it always makes me feel good when I watch it. And I still remember... I went to see it by myself. I feel like I was around, 35 years ago, so I was a teenager. And I went to the UTC Theater when it was still right across from the ice rink.
Wait a minute. How old were you when it came out? That would be you were 15?
13, 14.
13, 14?
Yeah. Just dropped off at the mall.
Okay, so your
went to
mom
the movie. Yeah.
dropped you off.
Probably something like that.
I went with my aunt and uncle to see it, and I loved it. Yeah, at the time. I still love it.
I remember it's the only movie I've ever walked out of, and I was actually like crying.
Oh, I thought you meant you walked out.
No, at the end.
Oh.
Right at the end, and I'm
your
still
soul out.
because it's right at the end when it happens.
Yeah.
And
You have a dad.
Yeah.
And you love your dad.
yeah,
then
and it's I've never had that experience since, before, ever.
You've never cried at a movie since?
During a movie, yes, but actually, like walking out of the theater, like still crying.
Hey, Dad?
Yeah.
You want to have a catch?
Oh, God.
Still
Every
kind of
time.
gets me.
Gets
like,
me every
you know?
time.
I'd like that.
But for the people who always argue, it's such a stupid movie. It makes
Edgelords.
no sense at all. They're not wrong. If you think about it logically,
bit of both.
The movie makes like zero sense
It's a
whatsoever.
movie. It's fake.
I know, it's fiction. But why is the writer in it? Where did this all come from? I have no
Why
idea.
is Terrence Mann
Why
in
is
it?
Terrence Mann? What was his role? There's the backstory. Okay,
That
he wrote
felt a bit reachy to me.
It's very reachy.
Ease his
Everything about
pain.
it is reachy.
Yeah. Ease his pain.
Why do the rules of the ghost cornfield mean that he can't save his daughter without coming back to the game? I mean, it's magic. It's already magic. Why are there such strict rules to the magic? You can't go back.
Where do they go when they're in that corn? You know?
Terrence Mann knows. He got to go. Why did he
And
get to
that's
go to the
weird. He
corn?
was alive.
No one else gets to go. He was alive. He gets to go to the cornfield. Did he die when he went out there?
That's
or
the thing.
Did he come back? I mean, there's a lot that doesn't make any sense, even in the context of the movie.
You know what I love about it?
But it makes me feel good.
You know what I love about it? Honestly, I've watched it with Bo the last couple of years, and he really likes it. But I got to explain to him the Shoeless Joe Jackson lore, right? And the story behind that. And that, to me, was the cool part of it. I love 8 Men Out, but he's not going to sit and watch that. Hey, Joe, yeah, 2-bit C. Like, he's not into that. But Field of Dreams
Say it ain't so, Joe.
made sense to him when I explained what they did and why they got kicked out of baseball. And anytime you get a chance to talk about the history, it's awesome.
And Ray Liotta, rest in peace, didn't look like a baseball player at all on that swing. It was horrible.
He was swung right-handed.
Yes.
It's tough.
Not a lot of. We've talked about this before. Not a lot of sports movies are out there where the actors.
But he was so
look
good.
like they know what they're doing.
He was so good, though, at being Joe Jackson.
Yes.
Right? He was great.
Until you actually
watch him swing.
Had to make him swing the baseball
I
bat.
guess they tried, and it looked so bad. They're like, just hit right-handed. We're already putting guys in the cornfield and, Moonlight Graham. The other thing I liked, when I told Bo, hey, Moonlight Graham is real. That's a real story of a real baseball player that really got 1/2 inning in the field and didn't get an AB. He couldn't believe it. I said, he's a real person. And he really went on to be a doctor and all that. Like, I love that they intertwined all of that in there. I love the movie. I've loved it more since I had a kid, and I can now play catch with my son. Yeah, man, it means a lot.
The
to
James
me now.
Earl Jones People Will Come speech is both overly melodramatic, kind of ridiculously written,
and awesome.
And utterly awesome
Yeah.
and spectacular at the same
People
time.
will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
I cry when they don't let Moonlight back on the field. Every
course.
time.
Why not?
I weep.
You're magic. Just let him back.
I know. I'm with you.
It's a big deal. All right. That's it for us today. Annie and Elston. Annie Heilbren. Hanny Heilbren. Coming up next, for Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. From all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.